Elitism sucks. That's what I'm gonna stream about today. Talking about how we're always trying to climb over each other as human beings to achieve elitism, and how most of us will never qualify to be elites. And frankly, from where I sit, I've got no interest in that at all. Um, so let me get this thing all set up, looking like it's supposed to. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Looks fine to me. Okay. Yeah. Well, elitism sucks. I'll never understand. We all know, as the human creature that we are, what the pursuit of elitism does. And every culture, every nationality, every language, every human context has dealt with a group of people that have tried to form a body of elites to govern or tell everybody else, what to do. And I don't know. For me, I'm personally sick of it. But even beyond that, it's gotten to the point where the depth of violence that sort of behavior creates is just untenable. We can't continue with this. There's so much to talk about, but the heaviest thing on the world in the world right now are all these various places in Sudan and in the Congo and in Israel and Palestine where humans are creating violence for others. And I don't know. I mean, we all grew up more or less with the same stuff. It doesn't matter what country we are from. We all have the same stories: good versus evil, you know, fight imperialism, all this stuff. And then when it comes down to it, though, it just goes back to one group views themselves as a body of elites that is able to do essentially whatever they want to do. And there's no politic to that exists on both. I don't want to be both sidesism. Okay, that exists in all group contexts. And when you notice, when there's violence in the result, there's usually a body of elites that is producing that violence. So that's or that is the behavior that we need to stop. Stop participating in it. Stop facilitating it. All of this stuff. It's so interesting to me to see Javier Milei, right? The guy who's just elected president of Argentina. All of the press outlets in the United States calling him right wing, like far right wing. And he's a self described anarcho capitalist. Um, in the context of United States politics, that man is farther left than the left. Okay? There's a few things that I think he disagrees with on, but I don't know if he's of interest of having the state enforce his moral beliefs. Okay, that's something that I think people need to caution themselves with, because he, as an anarcho-capitalist, it's sort of a interesting form of libertarianism. I'm a well, depend the arrangement of the words doesn't really matter, but socialist libertarian, libertarian socialist, however you want to describe it. The ideologies are actually quite similar. The and but let's just get back to the overall point. Essentially, Argentina as a country is rejecting the body politic of elitism. And that has worn the face of the left for the longest time, but it's really just a human behavior of people achieving positions of power and then misusing those positions of power to focus wealth, resources, opportunity on themselves, their children, the people that they know. And so that seems to be the natural form of human behavior in all cultural contexts. Like, no matter where you go, that exists. So the people of Argentina rejected that, and that's why the man's being called far right and all these these lunatic labels. I mean, the man is more left than your most leftist politician in the United States government. I couldn't tell you who that is. Maybe Talib or Ilhan Omar. I don't know, but he's farther left than either of them is on policy. He's real far left on a lot of policy. Okay. It's absolutely bizarre to see people out here calling them far right, including David Pakman, who should know and be aware of the political soup in Argentina, like way more than people in the United States. But essentially, y'all, like I said, the government there has been using this practice of behavioral elitism and resource control to focus resources, wealth, opportunities on a select group of people, while most of the country just is left with to deal with nothing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm 34 now. I'm 34 years old, and I've been an idealist the entire time, hoping for a better world, hoping that we can collaborate on a better outcome and leave something better behind. But like, it's clear to me that my generation is just going to regurgitate the behavior that came before us, and we're even worse about it though, because we brand ourselves with this performative bullshit. It's another thing why Malay won. We brand ourselves with this performative bullshit, but we don't actually do anything in our activity or behavior or practice to be what we're performing as. And that it's so frustrating in real time, because it's like, okay, I get it. Some folks, they may not have the answer to that. And then there you have folks like me. I'm a cognitive linguist, by the way. Just so in case you guys don't know me, my name's Kimani Okira. I'm a cognitive linguist, a filmmaker, photojournalist, media producer for 18 years. And a cognitive linguist, it sounds all fancy. It's really not that fancy. It's a field that's been around since the early 1970s. You could say that Noam Chomsky was one of the godfathers of cognitive linguistics. The person that I am a disciple to, if you want to use that term, would be George Lakoff from UC Berkeley. And anyway, cognitive linguists, we are a sort of behavioral scientist that researches language both as a invented tool, it's an invented tool, and a natural behavior, because it's both things. And in the use of language, there's no room for elitism. That's why there's people who want to prescribe language performance. Oh, spelling, grammar, semiotics, syntax, all of these things. We call them prescriptivists. And there's fields and use cases where prescriptivism is vital, like medicine and rocket science. You know, we need to know, everybody needs to agree on the exact way the meaning is being delivered. But in most fields, who cares? Who gives a shit? If you understand what's being said, who cares about the performance style of how it was said? You feel me? So, that is the crux of elitism for me, is right there. It's in language. It's prescriptivism, the behavior of telling somebody else how to perform. That's really what it is. And I have zero interest in telling other people how to perform. It doesn't interest me. I want to collaborate on meaning because that's what language is. It's a collaboration. It works at all times, whether or not I'm performing it in a way that you prefer. It's not up to you. Meaning is not up to you. I am simply an ape performing a series of noises through a hole in my face, and you're able to understand the meaning I'm intending to deliver because of two survival traits at work. This is what builds your cognitive reality that allows language to process any meaning at all. The first survival trait is pattern recognition. Is an interesting one because this is how humans put together any information at all. There has to be an underlying pattern for us to understand it as information. So, our cognitive detection and ranging only works if information is pattern-based, and that is true no matter how you slice it. So, I'm giving away my thesis here, but that to me is what we describe as sentience. Anyway, pattern recognition. High-level pattern recognition is how humans build information on anything, including what you're seeing. What you're seeing are wavelengths of light, patterns that our brain, our eyes, are special equipment to interpret those wavelengths of light into vision. And that is such an interesting thought paradigm to dive into because we can't prove that we see the same colors the same way. We call them the same things because we're calling the wave of light that we see the same thing. But we don't know if we experience that wave of light the same way. The way I experience blue might be the way you experience red. We'll never know if our brains are processing those wavelengths of light in the same exact way. And in fact, there's good reason to believe that we don't. And it could be so crazy as every single human on the planet has a different take, has a different rendering of the patterns that we interact with every day. That's interesting. But anyway, pattern recognition, number one survival trait that allows language to work. These are patterns of noise that I'm making in sequence. When you're reading, they're patterns of symbols that work in a sequence. That's how meaning is created and delivered from one person to the next. And then there's empathy. And this is an interesting one because when you know somebody knows what they're talking about, like for example, you're receiving the information I'm intending to deliver because empathy is at work. And you know that I know what I'm talking about. If I was full of shit, then your judgment door would be up and your brain would automatically be rejecting the attempted message because there's something's not feeling right. Oh, something missing. When empathy is the driving force behind your ability to communicate, the meaning just flows, and that's just how language works. We are spending so much time looking for platforms of judgment to turn away the meaning other people are delivering. We're spending so much time. We compete with each other over it. Right now there's people killing each other, killing children, y'all. They're killing kids, and the people that are doing that, right? I'm not going to single out any specific group, but we all know that there are things happening, and anytime a group is committing a violence toward another group, it's not okay. Anytime. Period. And now that violence has escalated to the point where there are thousands of children dying, dead. And I don't know about y'all, but I saw a video running, like, a doctor picking up one of these poor kids. And I don't even know if I can describe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the body fell apart. And so if you're at the other side of this, a member of one of these military groups, and you're all around my age. I'm not that far away from the people in their 20s. I'm not that far away from the people in their 40s. So we're all in the same age. Like, just knock it off. Knock it off. Stop. When the order comes through, don't do it. You're not making room for something to happen. You're putting your foot down and saying, you know what? I have a moral, ethical responsibility to myself, my family, and my future, and everybody who needs me in my future to not do this. I know a lot of these kids. I don't know a lot of these. I don't know these kids personally, but I mean, a lot of these kids in the military, they're in their young 20s, and they got to wake up every day for the rest of their lives thinking about the things that they're doing today. Okay, I've seen it happen to friends of mine that went into the American military, where they and I love them all dearly, but they go through these experiences they can't even describe. And it sits with them every day, whether they lost somebody, whether they've caused the loss of somebody. I don't know. You can't even have context. I don't know each and every individual context. Just knock it off. Like, it's all because of elitism. Why? We don't like I'm all for like freedom of speech. Okay, I get that, right? I'm speaking to you now. Freedom of speech. Elitism, and trying to build elitism out of society, elitist groups, elitist bodies, elitist clubs, all these things. That's really what it comes down to. Do you feel that you're so elite that you can step into where somebody's been living for thousands of years and say, you don't live here anymore, I live here now? We think our people used to live here thousands of years ago, so this is our ancestral homeland. I'm not trying to mock anybody's religion, okay? But if you have a spiritual belief that you are assigned ownership over this land because of something you believe in, why would you need to then kill and create violence to get it? If it was something that was destined for you. If it's destined for you, you don't have to create violence for other people. So, I don't know. I'm as a cognitive linguist, I'm so sick of language being used and twisted to form elitist bodies and elitist bureaucracy in society. Right? Just overall, like, it's a disgusting, violent. It's just such a. This is the dystopia. Elitism is the dystopia, and we've been dealing with it for thousands of years. Like, in the modern form, colonial elitism really started to happen in the 900 AD area, and that's when the Anglos first thought of the Scots as less than, and they said, we're elite, and we need to teach you our elite ways. We're going to force you at the tip of the sword to adopt our elite ways. And that was the Scots dealing. The Scots had to deal with that from the Anglos, who were inspired by Rome to spread their. I don't know. I mean, it's just, if it's destined for you, you shouldn't have to create violence to get it. It's that simple. So I don't know. I'm over here. I don't matter at all. Ain't nobody listen to me. It doesn't matter what I do. Like, I think my thing is, I don't want to be an important person. I don't want to be an elite. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to be in the club. None of that interests me. What I want is sustainability in my life, and I want to do that through the things that I do well, which is producing intellectual property at high level. That's what I do well. And with my health issues, okay, look, I'll just show y'all. Okay, look. This is killing me. I've been cut here to here, surgery. I've been cut here to here. Can't really see, but that's another surgery. There's one right here. Surgery there, right there, Got a couple of them on this side. My existence is very low quality. I don't have a lot of resources. There we go. All right, this is what's inside me, okay? I was born on crack in 1989. I was born on crack because the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States poisoned African American and indigenous communities in the late 70s and early 80s as a form of ethnocide with crack cocaine. They bring it in by the briefcase, they drop it off, they'd be shipping it in the community as some party drug, and nobody knew what it was, and then 5 years later, the communities are falling apart. The government did that. Now, I was born on crack in 1989. I with malformed intestines, which they've done a number of surgeries on, and each one that they do seems to make it worse. I was trafficked into the foster system at 6 months old. And then I got kicked out the day I turned 18. Now, what normally happens to people like me is we end up on the street, or in prison. In fact, 70% of the prison population in California are former foster youth, as is almost something like over 80% of the homeless population. And it's because nobody gives a fuck about us. We are used as this political tool to form these power networks, but nobody actually cares about the human beings that are at the other side of these stories. And for my purposes, nobody is collaborating on my survival. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, I big deal police so much, but I really did invent something. It's pretty cool. Alright, so it's the Scalable intellectual property puzzle. Long story short, when you have an idea that forms an intellectual property, that idea can be a brand, IP. It can be, in my case, like a television show, intellectual property. A film, intellectual property. There's all these things that when you have an idea and you create that idea, it forms as an intellectual property. Now, how do you claim that as your property? Well, there's all sorts of official state versions, ways that you can go through the state to maybe get a patent on something, or file a copyright or a mark, or register your mark of trade. And sometimes those things can be cost prohibitive. Other times there's free resources to do that. But ultimately, the answer is you have to go to a body that provides that sort of official verification of the idea as your property. So, as somebody who's been working in IP for 18 years now, maybe we'll watch a music video that I did to start off my career for NoFX. But the changes we need to make in human behavior exist at that level. Right there, when the intellectual property is created, because that is what is monetized. That is where labor is added to the intellectual property to produce some sort of product for the customer, and the customer buys that product. That's true no matter what we're doing. So, I took the intellectual property of the Let Me Out Productions brand, and I turned that into a puzzle that fundamentally only exists as a puzzle with 500,000 pieces. Now, as the founder of the brand, I'm keeping 23.6% of the puzzle as mine. We have our co-founders would each keep 19% of the puzzle as theirs, and we have our founding regents and our founding advisors that each have a small portion of the pieces that they keep as their portion of the puzzle. That leaves 16% of the puzzle available as a customer product, which, if you're watching on YouTube, right next to my face here, you can see a couple of those pieces of the brand puzzle. So that intellectual property of the Let Me Out Productions brand only exists as a puzzle, 500,000 pieces, and a customer can buy a piece of the brand puzzle to collaborate in the brand. They're called company ownership tokens. Our brand is a company. A company, in the true objective meaning of the word, is a formal association of artists producing audience experiences. It's been that way since the 12th century. Okay. C-O-M, literally means together in Latin. Pan is bread. So, after a group of artists would perform whatever they were doing, some stage play or something, they'd break bread. Which is why a group of artists is called a company. Okay, so when we call it a company ownership token, we are celebrating the origins of the linguistic. We're celebrating the linguistic origins of the word company, and sticking with the true objective meaning of the word. Formal association of artists producing audience experiences. Ownership is legal right to. Token is proof. So, when you buy a piece of the brand Puzzle Let Me Out Productions, the customer is buying proof of their legal right to formally associate with our group of artists producing audience experiences. It's literally what the words mean. So I wrote a paper on this model called Scalable Intellectual Property Puzzles. I did this back in March of 2021. Started in February, about a few months into my research, and then I published it towards the end of March in 2021 across from a development prospect over at MetaPurse. Now, nobody cares, but this is. I launched the paper and our brand puzzle and the first intellectual property collaboration, Musical Bears, that March of 2021. 1 month later, the Bored Ape Yacht Club drops their thing, which is exactly it's pretty much the same thing as what Let Me Out Productions is doing. It's collaborative branding. In their case, they did 10,000 images of the same monkey, but with different outfits and different facial expressions, hair color, all these things. So each version of this monkey is its own kind of unique thing. And then the customer of the image would be receiving a digital title to the image and an open license use of that image, so they can use it for whatever they want. Now that's their open license mark of trade. So when they dropped that, it was a month after us. They dropped that towards the end of April 2021, and they were sold each monkey for $200. Well, within 3 months, these things were trading for about $700,000 to $1.5 million. I think that Justin Bieber bought his for like $1.5 million. And it was all because of this, everything that we're talking about. Like, they sold the product through this sort of, if you have one of these, you're part of the elites. You're now part of the, you're part of this elitist club. The purchase premise for the customer is the open license mark of trade that the monkey is. The free market spoke through this hype mechanic, and within a few months, these pieces were trading $700,000 per monkey. That piqued a bunch of regulators, and they got involved into this sector, and then it also set the whole thing down a whole horrible path, because now everybody thinks that blockchain, NFTs, all these things, everybody thinks that they're investment facilities, and that's not true. That's just not true. So now when people think of they're buying an NFT, they think they're depositing money into something, and they expect that money to come back out at a later time at the same value or at an inflated value. So they want passive gains from depositing money into an image or into the title of an image or a title of a brand, and then extracting that value at a later time based on the performance of that network. It's like, no, guys, stop trying to get one over on the next person. This is what we're talking about. Blockchain is not an investment facility. It's honestly not that deep. It's pretty boring. It's a notary service, a public notary service. That's all it is. And it organizes the transactions of value and custody over IP titles. It layers that data into blocks and then records those blocks in a public, transparent, permanent, encrypted chain. Encrypted just means it can't be hacked. So cryptocurrency is the value transfer protocol of the blockchain. Once again, public, transparent transactions, and the record can't be hacked. So the point of it isn't investment. The point of it is actually collaboration with legitimate information. That's what the point of it is. And if you're in blockchain, you know that. Like, you know what the point of it is. And I think there's so many shadow forces at work trying to prevent the adoption of this technology because they want the status quo to maintain. That the more information they can keep in the shadows, the easier that network of elites is to form and maintain. Because as soon as you have somebody who's a part of that network that didn't earn it and didn't get there off merit, and they fuck up somehow, and the network moves to cover for that person, right now they can do that. But with blockchain, they can't do that. They just can't do that. And you see, they even tried it. They, like with SBF, they even tried it. They did try it, but you can't do it. You can't mask it. So, anyway, so I got involved in blockchain and NFTs in December 2020. I came in because my brother was missing at the time. His name's Kimani. And because my other job was freezing me out. I had covered pro basketball in the United States for just a hair under a decade. And this was this pandemic season. So it's after the bubble. The season's starting back up in December 2020. And I'm being told by media relations of the team I covered here in Sacramento, hey, you know, we're only letting a certain amount of media professionals into the building, and you're not one of them. I'm like, okay. And so it turns out all the media professionals they were letting into the building were corporate, and everybody who was independent wasn't going to get a bite to eat. Going back to that network of elites again and again and again. So Sacramento is very glaring because there's not that many media professionals anyway. There might be 50 or 60 of us all together. And this is a publicly funded 22,000 seat taxpayer funded arena. And we're talking about 12 full-time photojournalists. They tell 5 of us that we can't go shoot games. My contract is based on shooting games. And they tell 7 of them that they can go shoot games. Okay, so my expected paycheck was rug pulled. I already didn't have any income, barely paying the bills off one client, and my brother's missing. My car's in shambles. I had a 99 Malibu that was falling apart. It finally broke down this past May here. And I knew he was missing somewhere in Alameda, East Bay, somewhere around there. I had no idea he was homeless, but I knew he was out down bad and wasn't telling anybody what was going on. So I needed to go physically look for him, but my car wasn't going to make it from Sacramento to the Bay Area, and certainly not doing the street crawling that we had to do once we get there. So this check that I was expecting during this pandemic season, it's a game rate check. So I own all my photos, but I also get a game rate for every game I photograph, and they weren't letting me into the games, so I couldn't fulfill my contract. Well, my brother turns up dead April 10th, 2021. This is 4 months at, and then, by the way, I went back through the emails maybe a month or two ago. I was straight up begging media relations, like, hey, my family's in a bad situation. I need to get in there to earn a check. Like, I'm not asking for a handout. I got my vaccines. I'm in a good position. But I need to get a paycheck. And nope, the elitism of telling people what to do, where they can be, all of that was more important to maintain for this basketball team than actually just standard compassion, standard humanity. And we're in a society now where we're so attached to that elitism that they literally, come on, this is a $2 billion basketball franchise. As soon as you hear somebody's brother's in the streets missing, you figure some sort, just mobilize a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Mobilize a little bit. But they don't do that anymore. I don't know if they ever did, but back when I was a kid, they used to perform like they did. And so once you get up in the soup, you realize that it is very much a performance. It's all branding. And none of it is real. None of it is real. They might occasionally do the Make-A-Wish thing, but as a standard, as a cultural standard and as a behavioral standard for the franchise, no, there's no way. And that starts at the top. That's an executive culture if you're over there at that franchise. So they freeze me out during the pandemic. I'm not the only one who goes through it, but we all couldn't afford it. 4 months later, my brother is dead in Berkeley in People's Park in a tent. Now, That's what I got into blockchain for. I was trying to find an income source selling my photographs using a digital titling system on blockchain. So I'd go provide a title to the photograph, like this one is Legacy, my 11th in the Okira Black and White series. And, oops. You can see up here, I'm actually going in the type thing here, in the address bar. I'm going to highlight the title number here. It's a big long one, but it ends in 2961. That's the actual title number of this photograph. And it's titled on this contract here, 7B5E, which is just the OpenSea shared storefront contract. So this is just a non-commercial collectible. And so the customer would be buying this photo for just a hair over $3,600. I need this. Somebody buy this photo, please. Please, 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 please. Okay. They buy this photo, and now they own this. Like, this is the only one I'm ever putting out of KG, Joe Johnson, and Paul Pierce sitting on the Brooklyn Nets bench. This was very early in my career. Yeah, 11/14, 2013. That was the first year I was doing full time. So, 10 years ago. Hey, look at that. Look at that. All right. So, if a customer buys this photo, they're not investing $3,600 into my photography. That's ridiculous. Okay, they're buying a $3,600 piece. Incidentally, I think at that price range. Oh yeah, it does come with a canvas print. Okay, so you do get the physical print as well, at 36 inches by 24 inches canvas print. Okay, so. But yeah, that's a non-commercial collectible. So you buy this, great. Now you own the photograph. That's shows up in your wallet. You own the title to the photograph. However, you can't go commercially. You can't use this photo for commercial purposes without likeness usage permission from KG, Joe Johnson, and Paul Pierce. Likely likeness permission from the Brooklyn Nets, the NBA, and the Players Union. So after all those parties are taken care of, I'm at 35% of the overall market position that is created from commercial use. So that's also part of this title. It's part of what this purchase is. So it's an acknowledgement, okay, I'm buying a non-commercial asset, and I control the commercial use of this asset. However, if I am going to commercially use this asset, I acknowledge that I have to seek out likeness and permission from other parties. And then even after those likenesses and permissions are secured, since I already have the photographer's permission, the photographer wants 35% of the market position overall. So let's say somebody goes and puts this in a $100 million contract. Well, I want 35 million of that, baby. Hell yeah. That's like... I doubt that any of my photos would ever achieve a market position of over $10,000 for a use. But anyway, so that's what I got involved to do, is to generate some income selling my photos as digital titles. I'll put this collection in the chat here. And everything, that it quickly dawned on me that this idea that I had way back in 2007 fit this technology so well. And that idea basically was me and 4 other buddies of mine back up in Forest Hill, California. We're planning on an aliens invading Forest Hill film from a real small town in the Gold Rush Mountains of California. So, aliens invading that town. And we're trying to come up with some sort of like charming Cloverfield-esque style film to do. And at that point, we had worked together on a few different projects, and I had noticed that there was a trend that had formed in our group of me doing most of the work, and then other folks stepping in once their roles are defined. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, that's okay, I'm willing to do that, but I want to track. I want that measured somehow. And so when we own the film, when we all are divvying up the ownership rights to this film that we're making, but mind you, we were literally like 17 and 18 at the time. But we when we divvy up the ownership rights to this film that we're creating, I want my impact percentage to be reflected by my ownership. because I know I'm about to do 60 to 70% of the work, but you guys are all going to want to treat it all equal, 20% a person. Let's figure this out. So back then, we didn't have a tracking mechanism. There wasn't a technology in place that would allow us to do that. Now, all right, I go form the title, I go form the film, I write a deed to the film, and I establish it as a puzzle. It's no longer one unit of intellectual property, it's a puzzle. The film is a puzzle. Now, in that puzzle, we're going to take some of those pieces and say, okay, these pieces are a collaborative customer product. We'll sell some of that property to the customers. We take some of that puzzle, we hold it for the creator. Say, the creators, this puzzle wouldn't exist without the original creators, so they should always be anchored at 30% ownership of the over their distributed asset. The production platform of Let Me Out Productions, we're at 35%. The team that makes the film, they share 20%. We do a 5% union, 5% distribution to unions, and we have 10% available as the customer product. So that's what a scalable intellectual property puzzle is. When you do it in a film or a season of television, now you have intellectual property that anchors labor. So labor directly translates into intellectual property, which provides that impact percentage, which anchors net profit distribution from a smart treasury. So that's what our brand does at Let Me Out Productions. That's what our shows and films do that we produce. And these are collaborative, blockchain networked collaborative intellectual properties. So when you buy a puzzle piece in one of these brands, when you buy a puzzle piece in a film or a show, it is not a deposit of money. You are not going to get that money back. Like, you just bought something, you purchased something, now you own that. Okay, so it's the same thing with the cartoon cults, as I call them. I launched this puzzle thing a month before the Bored Apes, so always keep that in mind, that I experienced a lot of this harebrained nonsense in real time, where folks were buying a cartoon for $200 and they expected to sell it to somebody else for $15,000. Nothing happened. Nothing was created. There was no activity that justified that markup. So that's what the behavior has been for over 2.5 years. It doesn't make any sense. So it turned like the cartoon calls, the Bored Apes, yeah, great, you're awesome for onboarding or whatever. Like, everybody who was around in the early days knows there's this 4chan troll project that the whole thing was trying to get celebrities to buy these monkeys. And you did. Hardy har. Great. The technology is for networking collaborations. That's what the technology is for. So credit to Yuga Labs, because they've actually taken that position and done something with it and networked further collaborations, and that's something that I think is impactful and good for everything that we're doing here. But the point and the public face of this technology can't be speculation. It can't be investment. It can't be gambling. That needs to stop. It's setting so many people back. All these influencers out there. I know Asmongold. I know you know better. Okay, Charlie, Moist Critical. I know you know better. Hassan Piker doesn't know any better. He's a fool. But like, you guys know better. This is not blockchain is not a facility for investment. It's a technology that may well be used as a facility for investment at some point in the future, because of that public transparency, because of the programmable data. But that does not mean that the baseline behavior of what people are doing here is seeking investment relationships. That's not what we're doing. Let Me Out Productions, we sell a piece of the brand to a customer. Now Let Me Out Productions provides services, experiences, and property rights to the customer. But it's not just provided by Let Me Out Productions LLC, the company. It's provided by the entire collective brand. Everybody who owns a piece of the brand, a piece of the puzzle, is helping provide those services, experiences, and property rights to each other. And that is ultimately what we've created at Let Me Out Productions in our brand puzzle. Unfortunately, the platform I'm on right here, OpenSea, they want to call that securities. They want to call those investment contracts, the pieces of the puzzle. And it's just, again, it's more unhinged elitism behavior. So this is our brand puzzle here. Each piece is unique with a unique relationship in the brand ecosystem. But right now, I'm not logged in, but if I log into the company wallet and try to list any of these, I'm unable to list them on OpenSea's marketplace because they went and called these securities. Now, a security is an investment contract where the customer knows it's an investment contract, so the underlying purchase premise of a security is investment. An investment is a deposit of funds that you expect to grow or at least maintain its value, but the hope is that it'll grow in value and that the handlers of those funds have a fiduciary obligation to use those funds in a way where your deposit will grow in value. That is what a security is, okay? And that's not what we create when we create an intellectual property puzzle out of a brand. So it's interesting to me that OpenSea disabled our product. We're the original collaborative brand on blockchain, while the Bored Ape Yacht Club, another collaborative brand, it's not different, is able to trade their assets no problem. When that one actually set the market on fire with speculative gambling, and a lot of people got burned. But at the end of the day, those people who are making fun of NFT folks and crypto bros for being burned by looking at this as an investment facility, they're right. It's not an investment facility. It's hella stupid to look at. It's not like there's nothing in this technology that is magically going to make your money grow. The reason why we use it for things like intellectual property ownership and value transfers is because of that permanent public record that's programmable. So if somebody were to buy this piece here, number 116, Abominable, okay, they have now anchored themselves with part ownership over our collective brand of Let Me Out Productions. Now, they are able to develop their own collaborative audience experiences as intellectual property puzzles using our ecosystem tools. That's the primary perk. It's like this, it's honestly like hiring a supervising producer to develop your production plan for you in a film or a show, except for its lifetime. Now, a supervising producer would cost you median $140,000 a year. This is lifetime. It's just one project at a time. Unless you have at least 177 of these bad boys. So that's the primary perk, is that the development of scalable intellectual property puzzles in films and shows. We're prevented from trading that right now. You're not depositing money into that service expecting to sell it to somebody else at a markup at a later time. No. If that happens with our stuff, then like that's just the free market speaking as to the secondary value of intellectual property, which the free market should be able to do. The regulators should not be involved in the primary sale of intellectual property assets. The promotion of it, I get that. Okay, and even then they've been super twisty, super fucked up. Like Tom Bilyeu from Impact Theory. I'm just now starting to get into what he is and who he is and what his whole content angle is. And I think it's a little bit deeper than just his market activity. Okay, I'll say that for one. And then two, Impact Theory did the same. Like, it's all the same thing. It's all collaborative branding. Bored Apes, Let Me Out Productions, Impact Theory, we're all doing the same thing. Stop discriminating against one group for not being successful in reaching an audience or generating an audience. I just don't I don't believe in manipulating people to support us. I just don't do it. We'll talk about Film 3, aka, well, better known as Film 7, here in a minute. But yeah, so somebody were to buy this would be listed for 1.116 Ethereum, which would be, I don't know, I want to say maybe a hair under $200 right now. And this would be the only one listed for 0.116 Ethereum. Why? Because it's 116. Number 123 is going to be listed for 0.123 Ethereum. So we call that the chronological growth curve. Now, the objective value of each token is way too high to charge as a customer good. You know what I'm saying? And so we discount each token to handle the onboarding journey that we're on, and we're trying to onboard a certain way. And with dedicated collaborators and not people that are speculating on the price of our company ownership tokens, because frankly, that's not the purchase premise. It's never been the purchase premise, and to have my art shut down by OpenSea with conjecture formed against 2.16 Ethereum of products sold since we launched is just so offensive. And it's all because once again, some group of elite assholes that are working for OpenSea have decided that their conjecture is more important than market actuality, proprietor intent, and customer purchase premise. They see the words company ownership token, they want to tell me what I mean when I say company. No. Company has objective value. Y'all can look it up. I'm not a big super dictionary guy anyway, but, you know, as a linguist, you know that a lot of times here's the objective meaning of the word company. A number of individuals assembled or associated together, a group of people. It literally does not mean business activity. Okay, so if these were shares of business activity, we would call them business shares. Business share, to tokenize business shares. That's not what they are. It's proof of affiliation with a formal group. So y'all can't tell me what I mean. Don't claim to be an impartial art broker if you're gonna tell me what the title of my art means. Don't do that. I just can't believe how much elitist fucking bullshit we have to go through. It's so hard to understand. OpenSea, you're unhinged. Like, you're really gonna make me sue you guys? What the fuck? And that's the other thing. Like, the network of elites, like, the behavior of it is so appalling, because part of it is you keep people low resourced. It's not just that you're focusing resources and wealth and opportunity on yourself. You're taking it from other people. And it's always like, I know you guys so well. It's like you're in this like self-justified state perpetually of why it's okay for you to behave that way. It's not okay for you to behave that way. Whoever at OpenSea, legal or trust and safety, whoever it was that said, oh, their company ownership tokens are unregistered securities. No. The customer is not making an investment of money. Simple. How can there be an investment contract if the product is not an investment? You can't call the product an investment. I, as a proprietor, can seek investment, or I can sell a package of services, experiences, and property rights wrapped up in one token as a product. I could do that. And if part of that product is the affiliation with our brand, why can't I call the product exactly what it is? I'll never understand you guys, but don't make me go to court. Like, don't do that, because it'll be devastating for OpenSea. And I know most of y'all over there have shit all to do with this decision. I want to see people's jobs maintained, even though you're doing a shit job of that already. This elitism of telling other people what they mean needs to stop, especially because y'all ain't qualified to do it. You lawyers that are making those decisions, you're not qualified to do it. You do not research the creation and delivery of meaning. I do. You guys sit up there and you've never ever researched that in your goddamn life, and you want to tell other people what they mean? Knock it off. No, I'm so sick of lawyers, man. Anyway, okay. Let me get back on track. February, March, published this paper, Scalable Intellectual Property Puzzles, on the almost structure for tokenomics. The model is the Scalable Intellectual Property Puzzle. The structure and logic behind that model is the almost structure for tokenomics. So, I put the paper in chat. Y'all can read it. It takes you to my Google Drive link. So, yeah, it was originally just our SOP that I published at the end of March 2021 to impress a group out of Singapore called MetaPurse, because that was our first prospect. They were going to buy 10% of the Season 1 of Press Pass puzzle, and greenlight the show, and then also facilitate this huge collaborative audience experience where people they create characters, they role play the characters into the lore, and then the show makes the fictional sports documentary based on the canonical lore that everybody's role played together. So that's the collaborative television show of Press Pass. But I'll tell you what, even when our product wasn't able, I was having a real tough time selling the pieces of the brand, and I'm having still an impossible time selling the pieces of Season 1 of Press Pass, which are active product. And the product requires people to reject elitism to enter the product. So part of what the interesting and unique experience that I had in sports media was, we make the product, the entertainment product that is sports. Like, we're the ones who make that into something consumable. We really are. It's the media that makes that into something consumable. The players, don't get me wrong, they're the only ones who can do what they do at the highest level. But without the media dressing that up, it's honestly, y'all, I've watched a lot of bad basketball games. It's really not that different than going to the park. You know who knows that? The NBA. The NFL. So they need to stand out. They need to have their experience sensationalized and stand out from just being, the best athletes from the neighborhood at the park. Because really, I don't know. Huh. Okay. Oh, it's giving me an error saying that my stream is buffering. But anyway, scalable intellectual property puzzle. My invention. Hey, yeah, woo! I don't want to be a big deal. I don't want to be a famous person. I just want basic sustainability. Okay, I want to be able to sell my products. I want dignified life. I want to be able to pay my bills. Like, I can't pay my bills. Well, we can talk about that. So, I've given you the timeline. February and March, wrote and published this paper. In March, I started getting a little bit of local pushback. Local is like my immediate local network, not just like people that I live nearby, but like the people that I'm close to in life. Because that's when the blockchain scorn started happening. Oh, it's environmentally dangerous. That was never true. And it was really just a campaign paid for by the information changers that exist today to get us to not utilize blockchain as a grassroots tool or resource. They want to, the corporations love blockchain. They love what it's able to do. In fact, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, all of those groups, everything that they're doing right now is built on blockchain. Everything. Every aspect of information delivery there is organized on blockchain. What is it that they do? They're data brokers. That's their business. They collect data and they ship that data as packages out to advertisers and other groups that buy that data and then use it to try to brainwash us. So it's in their best interest to have the most thorough system for creating and tracking that information, and that's blockchain. So it's like, I noticed probably earlier this year, maybe towards the end of last year, that everything, Facebook Archive, Instagram, all their bridging everything's blockchain now. And good for them for moving forward in that direction, but it's still like, I get it. You guys want to funnel the activity through your interfaces, and I get that, because if you lose that activity, then your business dies. And that business feeds a lot of people. So I'm not averse, like everywhere online there's a gateway to everything. So OpenSea is a gateway to purchasing these digital titles. if they are truly an impartial brokerage, which in my experience they have not been an impartial brokerage. Prioritizing conjecture of their own team versus common sense governance of language. Anyway, the whole thing is about networking collaborations. So when you're buying a non-fungible token, do you like the networked collaboration that you're buying a piece of? No? Okay, then don't buy it. That's the long and the short of it. Don't buy these things thinking, oh, I'm going to sell this piece of a network collaboration to somebody else when the network, when it's popping. That may or may not come true. In most cases, that's not going to be the case. In 99.9999999% of blockchain networked collaborations that are selling you a piece of it with a non-fungible token, you're not going to sell that non-fungible token to somebody else at a markup at a later time. Maybe years in the future, if it's something that's like now an old-timey collectible, that kind of thing. But that's not different than like, Harry Potter books or something like that. I have a box of first print Harry Potter books. It's not different than that. Now, did I buy those books because as a deposit of money into Harry Potter, thinking that I'd be able to sell them each for $100, $200 down the line? No. I bought the books to read the books. Okay? That's why we buy the books. It just so happens that every print that I have is the first American print of the book. So that same style of thinking can apply to what we're doing on the blockchain. For example, since OpenSea shut this down, I don't really have we might just have to replicate the entire product on a different platform on a contract that we control. Because here I was thinking, hey, compliance. We'll use an impartial third party to help us with our asset definition. Well, they're not impartial. They want to form conjecture against our assets and govern the conjecture rather than what they actually are. And so I don't love any art brokerage that wants to tell people how they can title their art. You know what I'm saying? I almost did a collection called Stocks and Bonds, where there's going to be a bunch of secret agents that were like stalking stores. I still have that plan, by the way. I made a bunch of art for it. But I don't know. I'm so beat up by the lack of support out here. It's past gotten. It's like I get their shadow forces at work. You guys are out there trying to fuck with us because you don't want to see network collaborations take hold as a human behavior. You feel it'll cost some corporations their bottom line. And it's like, the smart ones will do it. They're going to turn their brands into network collaborations and sell pieces. They're going to turn the experiences that in the showbiz at least into network collaborations and sell pieces. Like that product is going to bring in 150% on average the revenue that any of these things earn today. Okay, Oreo could be selling pieces they could be selling company ownership tokens of the Oreo brand. They're not investment contracts into Oreo. They'd provide some sort of collaborative experience. Now, I don't know what the answer is to prevent people from trading around digital tokens in intellectual property as investment contracts. There's no real way to prevent that, just like there's no way to prevent that in sports tickets. There's no real way to prevent that in most consumer goods. There's all sorts of businesses that buy things wholesale to mark up and sell, and they make their money that way. Does that make the initial purchase product, the initial product purchase an investment? From the customer's perspective, yeah, probably. But from the proprietor's perspective, no, that's not how the product is meant to be. It's not how the product is meant to enter the market. So the proprietor premise needs to be the priority for regulators. Like I'm telling you, your own conjecture cannot be your priority because you have no business in the seat of a regulator if your own conjecture is a priority. That means that elitism is your priority. It's not the functionality of what you're here to do. It's the elitism to tell people what to think, how to behave, and to enforce your take on that as reality. This is not these are not securities. These are not investment contracts in the Let Me Out Productions LLC. We're not going to perform our business in a way that maximizes the market cost of any one of these tokens. Each one is an individual token. Number 27 is not the same thing as number 42. It's what makes it non-fungible. You can actually literally see the differences. Okay, this is Bright Noise. I believe this is one of our co-founders' tokens. I think so. Look at that. That's first of all, really great piece of art. I took a few different photos of a comp book cover, and then I just messed with it in Photoshop until I landed on this, and I loved it so much that I did a logo variation. Anyway, these take me, on average, maybe 20 minutes to make. Some of them take me hours. Some of them take me 5 minutes. So I've made 355 of them. Okay, so 355 times 20. Oops. Let's see how much time that OpenSea disabled. 20 minutes. Okay, 7,100 minutes divided by 60 gives us an hour. Yeah, I spent 118 hours on this collection, y'all. 118 hours, and you've just disabled my 118 hours of my labor from being sold because of the conjecture that you formed against a collection that has 2.16 Ethereum. Oh, but these might perform as securities. Oh, they haven't since we established this in March of 2021. But look, this is what drives me nuts. Like, the Bored Apes Yacht Club, those are not securities either. They definitely performed a lot closer to financial instruments than literally anything else. Like, literally anything else. These are the ones that literally performed as financial instruments. So you see here, the cheapest that you can get one for, it's listed, is $64,000. People bought these for $200 initially. Now this is going to be the only one with this specific combination of fur, the cigar, the pilot helmet, whatever that is, and the striped shirt. Okay, but that's what people bought for $200. So they bought this. Now they have this specific number 2440 role in the collaborative brand of Bored Ape Yacht Club. And how do they collaborate in the brand? They just, I guess, participate in the hype network. I don't really know. I don't really understand that part. Our brand collaboration, not to compare ourselves to the Bored Ape. We're a media studio. These guys are a lifestyle brand. I'm sure they would clarify themselves as a media studio now. But that was a consumer good that quite literally performed on the market as a financial instrument. And you guys are out here telling us, who came before them, that we're unable to trade our collaborative brand product when that one actually performed as financial instruments. But you didn't disable them, but you've disabled us. When we've made $4,000 in 2.5 years, stop fucking with me. Like, you're literally just choosing to fuck with me. You're a stranger, and you're choosing to fuck with me, a disabled person, severely disabled person, and the 118 hours I put into creating that art for our collective members, for our part owners of the brand. Why? Because, a piece of the brand might sell at a markup if Let Me Out Productions is producing bangers and doing theatrical releases and all these things. That's not the point. If that does happen, who gives a shit? Alright, I have a Champion shirt in here somewhere, alright? I got it for $20 at Ross. I could probably sell it to somebody else if it was brand new immediately for $150. Got the Champion embroidered all across the thing. That does not make my purchase of the $20 shirt an investment contract. I bought the shirt to wear the shirt. Okay? So people buy a company ownership token. They're buying a shirt. They're going to put on the shirt. They're not going to sell the shirt to somebody else at a markup based on the strength of the brand. And even if they did do that, if that did come to be the case, which is not it's not what we want. That's not the proprietor intention. Even if that were to come to be the case, who cares? Who cares? The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, who I'm sure is behind this OpenSea freeze of our trade, because they can't explain it to me. They can't cite a specific thing out of our deed. They can't cite a market performance, and they certainly can't cite anything that I've ever said as promotion as to why they've disabled this product as investment contracts. The most that they can do is sort of hint that, like, because we did variable pricing, that they can try to claim that we were trying to do some sort of line goes up scheme. But as I've explained to them a million times, no matter where we are in the chronology, it's a priced chronology of release, that fixed pricing curve mitigates speculation to a severe degree. Because ain't nobody going to buy number 200 for 0.2 ETH if they know number 500 is going to be 0.5 ETH. Why? Because there's not enough gain. There's like no gain potential in that. Not enough for these sorts of speculators on this gambling market. They want 15x. They want 100x. That's what they're looking for. So anything that curbs the growth of that X potential, they're not going to get involved with. So the chronological growth curve in a collaborative brand puzzle is the way to mitigate that speculation, and then you just do it in a reverse discount. So you take the objective value of each piece, you make sure you do an objective value statement in the deed so the customer knows, okay, this is a $220,000 value. And then you price it backwards in the product release from the most expensive, like the highest you're willing to charge for it. Even our highest point that we're charging for it is still severely discounted by tens of thousands of dollars, down to the earliest point. So the earliest point for us is 0.001 Ethereum, which is token number 1, the one you want most. And at the time we froze, the earliest number you could get was number 71. We're having trouble selling some of the solid color pieces because, the pro tip there is there'll only be 10 of those in every 500 pieces, and we're only doing 80,000 pieces overall. So if you're thinking, oh, I want scarcity, or I want rare tokens, they're all unique, so they're all going to be rare. But again, the purchase premise is not speculation. Do not buy NFTs thinking you're depositing your money and you're going to extract that money later. Don't do that. You're going to get burned, because 99% of what you buy is a product that you've purchased. So only buy products you're going to use. And don't buy products that are charged like I wouldn't buy a Bored Ape for $70,000. The elitism of being a part of that club doesn't interest me. We were here first. So Let Me Out Productions was here first. I don't know what to tell people. We were here first. So I don't need to be a part of your elite club of being there first. Like, that's really what I mean. Oh, we were a part of this early. Well, so unless OpenSea scrubs our metadata from ever being publicly available, which who knows, they might do. I don't know. Again, I don't know any of these people. They're just messing with me. This is always going to be the case. This is token number 1. And it's March 24th, 2021. And that's a month before Bored Ape Yacht Club. By the way, I love taking comp books and using them as baseline texture, as you can tell. So this is forever, y'all. I don't like all you shadow forces. There's one thing that y'all have in common. Be you from Hollywood, government, or the grassroots competition. That anyway, you're not a competitor. It's our idea. Oh wow. You can't get rid of this. This is forever going to be here. Okay, and even if they were able to get rid of this specific one off OpenSea, look, The first one we actually transferred was one of these two. I think it was this one. Number 5, the Met token. Okay. This one was transferred on March 31st. Was on the record it says April 1st. This is one of those transactions that was layered into a block. This specific block, number 1 million. I'm not going to read all that. Yeah, 1,215,433. No, it's 12,150,433. That's the label. That's the block number. And I don't know what. And then this is the actual transaction hash of this specific transaction within that block. So all of this is programmable. So you can look at all of. I can go to the block. If you know what you're looking at, awesome. But if you don't, you can see how there's 211 transactions in the block. So you can see all of these transactions happened at the same exact time and were recorded in the same exact moment by the same exact network of notaries into this block and kept into this chain. Now, that is actually an extremely energy efficient process. Because if I send, if this were happening on PayPal, that's its own carbon footprint. Okay, if each one of these transactions is happening on PayPal, each transaction has its own individual carbon footprint. In this case, all of these transactions are sharing the exact same carbon footprint because the record of the transaction happened at the same time. It's all this. So, anyway. Yeah, so the elites of the world don't want us networking collaborations because it'll be basically their biggest fear come true, that they lose the power to create elitism itself. And I don't know. I've never been an elite. I'm not interested in that. I don't care. I troll the hell out of it. It's, I make content that's specifically not elite. I tried to do some art films, and don't get me wrong, everybody. Like what we're making at Press Pass, all the films and shows we're doing at Let Me Out Productions are high level tier 1 material. Like don't ever get me wrong. They'll be worthy of your time and what you put and what you choose to share with us as an audience. But yeah, like this.
Hardcast.net, and I'm very excited to be covering professional basketball for the first time in my photojournalist career.
Welcome to Lens Face. I'm your host, Kimani, and I am done with this shit. Bye.
Yeah, so the content quality is the quality of living in a behavioral elitist society. And I feel like a lot of people can resonate with that. Because we'll take it again.
I'm Kimani with Hardcast.net, and I'm very excited to be covering professional basketball for the first time in my photojournalist career.
Welcome to Lens Face. I'm your host, Kimani, and I am done with this shit. Bye.
Okay, so that's me role-playing as a character I made up for the lore of actual professional basketball. The character's name is Lensface, #Lensface, and Lensface is a social media influencer, like a sports media influencer, that makes content as bad as the team that I covered. And I actually did this character in real life on the lore of actual professional basketball for something like 5 years. And you can see... maybe I'll just grab the playlist here.
Walking around downtown Sacramento.
Maybe we'll watch a few of these on stream today. But here you can watch. There's the chat, and there's a link in chat there for you. So NBA photojournalist, As a self-important photojournalist, don't you dare call him a photographer who is convinced of the existence of the NBA specifically for their photography. It's a character performed by myself, a photojournalist, not photographer, for Let Me Out Productions. It's produced by Let Me Out Productions. It's always lens face. That's part of the joke. Anyway, ask Kimani. He just kind of does some things sometimes he thinks are funny, but in all honesty, he's dead ass wrong. Special thanks to the team, the dance team, the Golden One Center staff and operations, James Ham, John Santiago, Rich Pedroncelli, Aki Arcostas, and the team of professionals at Let Me Out Productions. Anyway, the entire point of this character was to sort of paint the ridiculousness of sports media always needing to provide like this high quality sensation and experience to fans while in our context, we were just covering the worst team of all time. Like no shade to the guys. By January, like every year, we knew whether or not the team was going to be in the playoffs. Early January, and so it's literally 2 months into the season, and you already know like whether or not it's an exciting time. It's likely different these days. I retired before the team turned the corner. I retired in May of 2021. In fact, I retired literally. When does it say here? We got a lot of sales showing up on this record here. Yeah, it's literally that day. I retired the same day that I minted the token. So, it's beyond rich. I mean, the circumstances of my retirement were not great. Like I said earlier, the team had frozen me out of the media circuit. Myself, Russ, Ricky, Manny, who else? I know there's somebody I'm forgetting, but you know, we were four of the photographers they had shut out, and my brother's missing, and I just wanted that community culture of caring and compassion and networking for solutions to come through and benefit myself and my family and my brother. It just never did. And you're treated as though you're entitled for bringing that up. Like just basic decency and compassion is something that we're entitled to, and that you shouldn't expect any sort of basic decency and compassion in life unless you qualify the performance standards that earn those things. And that's just not the society that I want to continue to live in or continue to build. Like, this is not a quality future we're presenting to the children. It's just not. And we all of us need to sit down and reconcile that fact that no matter what we're doing, how we're pursuing our economic interest and the way we organize labor, like all of that is trying to get one over on the next person, and usually it's the people that can't afford it. It's the people that are at the most economically vulnerable, the most marginalized people that are having their own value extracted and focused on people that shouldn't be doing that. That's number one, and all of us are in that boat. So we have to collaborate on a better system for labor. My position, Scalable Intellectual Property Puzzle. My credentials are 18 years in this media product, about 7 years of cogling research, and this is a behavioral issue. Okay, exploited labor that leads to elitist societies is a behavioral issue. We need to choose to stop platforming and maintaining it. Okay, it's ridiculous. Like, even what's happened in the economy that we helped create by networking collaborations and film production on the blockchain. We were the first collaborative brand. We have the first network collaboration in Musical Bears and in the television show Press Pass. Folks decided to move right by us. Hey, collaborative branding, great idea. They listened to somebody telling them, hey, this guy did this is such a bizarre circle. This is so weird. This is such a Black Mirror episode. Like, I've got a storage unit that they're likely going to auction off because I can't get the bill paid. I just can't get the bills paid. And my invention of collaborative branding and collaborative storytelling, like network collaboration using blockchain in brands and in productions, like, they're just trying to take that from me, and I'm a stranger to y'all. That's my work. That's my labor. It didn't come from nothing. I wasn't just sitting here, like, picking my ass one day and that thought just popped in my head. No, that's synthesized from years and years and years and years and years and years of labor, research, thought, lived experiences. My family experiences, too. It just didn't pop up here. You can't just take it from me. That's what y'all are trying to do, but this is the point of this technology, proof of origin. You can't just take it. So here's the thing, like network collaboration, branding, and productions in the film industry, right? I write the paper. I start writing the paper in February 2021. It was after MetaPurse, the group I was talking about earlier, held a seminar. They bought a piece from Beeple for $69 million, clued a lot of us into what blockchain could do for us as artists. And then what they took that piece, they fractionalized their ownership to it, which essentially they turned it into a puzzle of 20 million pieces. And each piece of that puzzle was used as the value assurance mechanic for a blockchain that they subsequently released called the B20 chain. So it's had 20 million tokens in this value transfer protocol, and each token had the value of a piece of the $69 million artwork. So it was I have no idea what the state of that is. I honestly don't really know what the network purpose of that blockchain was. The whole thing seemed to me to be sort of an experiment in value assurance of cryptocurrency and what you could use as a backing value for a cryptocurrency. So that was interesting. But I wrote an email to them right after that seminar, and to Brooke and Anand and Metakovan and Tubador and Anand are the same person. But anyway, I wrote an email. It's just saying, hey, what you guys did with that Beeple piece, can we do that to a television show? Can I take my season of Press Pass and turn that into a puzzle? Remember, we didn't have the puzzle language back then. We were all the same fractional ownerships. Can I fractionalize the ownership to my television show and sell pieces of ownership of the show to customers to collaborate with and contribute? And they said, yeah, well, hit us with the model. Like, let's talk about it. And when a $2 billion platform tells you to hit them with the model, let's talk about it, then you hit them with the model and you talk about it. That's a life-changing opportunity right there. And so this was all March. This is a whirlwind March 2021, right before my brother Kimani passed away. And I wrote, I finished writing the paper. I published it. Technically, it was March 22nd. It was just our early standard operating procedure. It was about 21 pages. Described all the use cases that we fleshed out in the current edition. But, I published that, sent it to my team, sent it to the MetaPurse team, and then we had already gotten our team together to start writing the pilot for season 1 of Press Pass. And, we had an early good group going. So the first couple of months there, my brother dies on April 10th. I don't find out until late April, early May. And I'm devastated. I didn't take any time off the project because it just felt like a seminal moment, and it was. Like, frankly, most of the market successes in blockchain happened that summer. And we were sitting there with our company ownership tokens, our Press Pass token, the ones I'm looking at here, Press Pass version 1 and version 2 tokens. And Android finally released an app for Clubhouse. Clubhouse back then was like this conference call app that people were hopping on to discuss blockchain and their product and the various projects we had. And I hop on the app and I meet a couple different groups. One group is called NFTs.tips. They were amazing. They were onboarding, very kind group of people. Something happened internal to that group, and it's sort of a factionalized thing these days. But back then, they were a real stand-up community, and something I looked forward to every week when we were having those discussions. There's a few other groups, but the one that I'm talking about is a group called Filmmakers in Web3, is what the room was called when I first entered the room in late May of 2021. And the room started on February 24th, 2021, 23rd or 24th, as a discussion space about the European film market. Had nothing to do with blockchain, NFTs, nothing. So I want to highlight this because there was an organic process where they took that room into a discussion space about NFTs and blockchain pretty soon right after it started. So late February 2021, the room starts as the European film market discussion. In March of 2021, it moves into a women onboarding into Web3 discussion. At some point in April, I think it was after Bianchi's historic film sale, at some point in April, they switched to filmmakers in Web3. And so here I come in late May with my model for collaborative branding and collaborative productions. Not just model, active product. And after every presentation regarding the model and active product, the host of this room did something that I found very disrespectful. After every presentation, which would take, back then about 10 minutes to get through explanations of fractional ownership and all these things, it was, they were long-winded. This lady would speak up and say, "It's important to remember, nobody knows anything." After every time I'd give it. So this happened 3 or 4 times. After the last time, I stopped going. I was like, the hell is this person doing? Like, I'm putting all this work and time and effort into just explaining myself, and they're going to kneecap the meaning I'm delivering. It's a term we use in linguistics to when somebody immediately speaks up after you've given your take or your expertise on something, and they use a broad brush language to sort of kneecap, like to diminish the meaning that you just delivered. So me giving a presentation from my point of expertise on how to define intellectual property using blockchain and set up these network collaborations was followed up with, "It's important to remember, nobody knows anything." And so this was this individual carving out their little space, right? So they said, I said, "Okay, you're weird. I'm not going to spend any more time with you." Their name rhymes with Borden Payne, just so everybody's clear about who the fuck this person is, because they've been a market monster since day one. Like that, stop, too many people sucking on their toes. This is a market monster, okay? This is not a good person. So I give my presentation on collaborative branding, collaborative productions, press pass, let me have productions, etc. Y'all, for the next month, it was a little longer than the next month, their weekly meetings start becoming about us. And they start talking about what we did wrong, which was nothing. They were making shit up out of thin air about what we did wrong. And all of it was focused on the conjecture about securities. Okay. "Oh, they formed investment contracts." No, we didn't. Again, premise of investment and a contract to enforce that premise. That's what an investment contract is. That's what a security is. It's called a security because when you put your value into it, it's a secure preposition. It's a secure place for your value. We're not selling securities. These are not secure places for your value. Nothing should be taking my messaging away from me from that. This is a customer product, period. Okay? Collaborative branding, collaborative storytelling, collaborative ecosystems, blockchain networked, collaborative intellectual property. It's a product. It's a customer product. Don't buy them as deposits of value. It's not a secure deposit of value, period. In anything that you're doing, period. Okay? Even when the case of Stoner Cats, where Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are up there saying, "Hey, you buy this cat for," they were selling them for $800 back then. "You buy this cat for $800, there's some chance you'll be able to sell it for even more money when the cartoon comes out." All right. Well, they're promoting a deposit of value that's going to grow, set on these conditions. That they were hit with SEC action, by the way. I mean, I disagree with the action, but Stoner Cats very much did promote passive value gain. The other people they hit with an action is Impact Theory, who did not promote a passive value gain, saying, "Oh, we're going to be the next Disney," is not promoting passive value gain. That put everybody on edge about how you can promote your collaborative brand. We want our content quality to reflect HBO standards. Does that mean we're saying we're going to be the next HBO? Does that mean we're saying to customers, buy a piece of our brand because we're going to be the next HBO, and that means inherently you're going to be able to sell it for more money at a later time? No. And then on top of that, like, again, this is why the word contract is in there. There needs to be a contract to enforce the purchase premise. I get the promotion. I get protecting consumers from the predatory language of promotion. Company ownership token is not predatory language of promotion. And I'll go to court with anybody who wants to go to court with me on that. I'm the linguist. You're somebody forming conjecture against language you never understood to begin with. So, I don't know. Like, at this point, OpenSea, we're going to hit you with something, because you can't just go disabling people's products the way you have. Anyway, going back to the story. Late May 2021, I bring this idea into a group called Filmmakers in Web3. For the next month, the leader of this group is talking shit about our products, making up rules against what we had done. Number one rule that they said was you got to write your own contract. Okay, so every group of assets on the blockchain is formed with a smart contract. And I was thinking, based off the advice from my counsel, that when we are selling these networked blockchain intellectual property pieces, that it's best if a third party, an impartial third party, provides that asset definition for customer safety. You don't want to be buying a non-fungible token that has any sort of backdoor or anything, any vulnerability at all. So the best way to shore yourself up from it as a customer is by ensuring that the product is defined by an impartial third party. That's why when you buy a toy at Walmart, you feel good about the toy that you bought, because it's Walmart that is choosing to sell the toy. They've defined that as safe for consumers. So non-fungible tokens, and my thought even back in 2021, is that eventually, it wasn't at the time, but eventually we're going to have that sort of mechanic be required. And I don't know that I'm still, like, I never really agreed with that, but we had basically started telling everybody to write their own contract. I'm sitting there saying, hey, no, if you're going to form these intellectual property puzzles, the pieces themselves need to be declared as safe for customers by an impartial third party, which is why we used OpenSea. And then they started mocking our use of OpenSea, which just turned out to be really funny. But back then, they were trying to build a class dynamic of people that use no-code tools on a platform like OpenSea, where we had to pay an upfront fee to launch the storefront, but then after that, you don't have to pay like a per asset or per contract or per collection fee. Like, so it was very easy to set up your different collections and assets that way. And so back then they were trying to make it into like this class dynamic. Oh, they didn't write their own smart contract. They didn't mint on OpenSea. That's low class. So you see, they took my idea of collaborative branding and collaborative productions and immediately tried to form a class dynamic against what we had done. It's a sick kind of evil that these people are doing. So anyway, they go through that. We do a huge product push in June and July of 2021. Now, mind you, my brother had died. My brother Giovanni, he had died in April, but my uncle Glenn had just died that March, and my auntie Sylvia died that June, and my cat had died in January. So, I was reeling. I was definitely reeling. So when our product push in June and in July, we found a lot of early adopters. We found a lot of great customers that connected with what we were doing. But that July drop, July 3rd, 2021, that fell apart because this person, bored in pain, had gotten to somebody who was brand new to us, but they had joined our team, and they had teamed up to form this language about Let Me Out Productions selling unregistered investment contracts. And that's all that needed to happen. So it completely killed our drop room on July 3rd. And I was heartbroken. You know, that was the opportunity to get the show lit from a grassroots perspective, and my family just kept dying. Like, my birth mother died that September. My grandmother Barbara died that October. My Uncle Earl died that November. My Uncle Melvin died the next April. And it's all because, I wear everything myself. I don't like blaming other people. So I couldn't connect this product with people in 2021. I couldn't connect our collaborative brand. I couldn't connect the collaborative experience of PressPass. And we weren't able to make sales that were stabilizing for myself or my family. And we weren't able to change anything for anybody. And dealing with that in real time and also the aftermath of it is just so heavy. And so that's when you start highlighting all of the little things that got in the way, like this idiot talking shit about what we had done, and then claiming that they invented it when they started their clubhouse room. And they still claim this to this day. They didn't even invent their own market trade. Okay. I don't want to give them any publicity. If you're in the ecosystem, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not in the ecosystem, then who cares? Like this person, there's such a footnote in history. It's unbelievable they've wasted this much of everybody's time. It hurts my head, honestly. I feel so bad for all the folks that came in here thinking that was a legitimate person. But here we are being fucked with by regulators and not that. Here we are, legitimate pioneers in a behavioral paradigm of consumer platform collaboration in brands and products, using the blockchain as the facility to network that together. Here we are at the forefront of that, and we're being fucked with in our collaborative brand when it has not performed at all like any sort of investment facility. While the people that are out there talking shit about our products, gaming the market, rigging the market, lying, fraudulently advertising, defrauding consumers, they're out there having a ball. But y'all been fucking with the pioneers, man. This is it makes me sick. And so that's where the elitism comes in. It's like the regulators are not regulating. They're part of the elites. And so the person out there who's lying and plagiarizing me, saying that they're the foundation of collaborative branding and collaborative productions in the film industry, your clubhouse room is not the foundation of that. Get it through. Because you keep on going out here trying to gaslight everybody into supporting that false claim. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows it started Let Me Out Productions. It's not a secret. The reason Hollywood hasn't come in here is because our intellectual property puzzle model issues 20% net profit to labor. And I'm telling them you're going to de-risk the assets by selling the collaborations out. So if there's no risk to produce it, because the budget is already coming from the collaborative product sell-out, then as a thank you to the labor that puts these films and shows together, let's do 20% net profit. Oh, there's too many moving parts on a film set. Don't I know? I've only been putting together those damn things for 18 years now. All scales, y'all. We're talking super small budget. We're talking super expensive reality TV shows. This elitism needs to stop, because I've watched in real time people plagiarize my labor to try and create a network of elites out of it, and it's sad that they would ever do it to begin with, because it speaks to so much trauma that they're trying to mask in their own career, that I honestly do feel bad for the individual who's behind this all. I don't feel so bad for the guy, the infiltrator, that came in to Let Me Out Productions and sabotaged our market position and then tried to go launch his own network collaboration and branding. Like that guy, he's forever going to be, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about me. Nobody cares. Like, if you do something cool, it doesn't matter if nobody cares. And nobody's going to talk about it. And everybody wants to say, oh, blockchain's facility for investment. Unregistered securities. No, we did network collaboration and branding. That's cool. It's a cool thing. Started to Let Me Out Productions, March 2021. Did it a month before Bored Apes. They're also a network collaboration and branding. We just happen to be focused on collaborative audience experiences. I don't know what they're focused on. Again, I called it a lifestyle brand. Nobody really knows what that is. But we're the same thing. You can't discriminate against us at Let Me Out Productions because of the language that we choose to use as a theatrical company. Okay? Now, there's a lot of issues, like, I don't matter. Like, I just don't matter. I'm not part of the network of elites. I'm never going to be. I'm not interested in that. So the response from those network of elites is, you don't matter. But most of them, like, you guys don't know me. You'd actually like me as a person. Most of you do. But you don't know me, and you don't love that I don't step on somebody else's head to be at your shoulder. I'm not like you. I'm not going to do that to other people. I'm not interested in that. The weight that sort of stuff takes on my soul, it's too much. So I know that because I've been in situations where, I'm not going to say like I've stepped on other people's heads, but there's definitely been power dynamics, and I don't like having the power dynamic, but y'all do. So like, that's why the OpenSea disabling our product is so curious, because they left the other this other group that claims to be the origin of collaborative branding in the film industry. They left their product up for some time. Now they're disabled too. Same with the collaborative brand of Big Three, the Professional Basketball League. A lot of collaborative brands are disabled, but they have not disabled the Bored Ape Yacht Club. That is the collaborative brand that set the market on fire with speculative behavior. Not everybody else. Don't make us play by rules that you're putting into place because of Bored Ape Yacht Club. So, I don't know. Nobody's going to watch this. Maybe regulators might watch this, but I don't have a natural audience. Like, you guys made sure of that. My social media is dead. I have no reach. Blockchain is so uncool. You guys made that, like, a mission, was to make blockchain a socially uncool thing. And it's that's fine. It was never that deep. It's like it's just a notary service. Like, it's just a notary service that arranges information in a chain of blocks. It's just not that deep. That's all it is. That's all it is. A cryptocurrency is the value transfer protocol of any one of these blockchains. And the cryptocurrencies are networked for a specific purpose. So, like, Ethereum is networked for intellectual property development and scalability and other, what they call them, layer 2 systems. I won't get too deep into it. All right? But Ethereum is a network that is meant to support legitimate information. And that's why I've turned my intellectual property into puzzles, and I've started selling them as consumer product on Ethereum. Now, I'm telling you, I'm having a hell of a time because I can't afford anything. And, okay, I did network collaboration and branding. I did a network collaboration in a television show all the way back in 2021. For the most part, nobody's purchased these things. The people that do purchase them, I'm not sure that they quite understand fully how to engage with the product, but they do have to engage with it. The company ownership tokens, you do have to engage and, like, schedule meetings and things like that, and take advantage of the rights that are afforded to you. The press pass tokens, that's a little bit more seamless, but you still have to engage and fill out the character registration form and all these things. And I just want to sell collaborative intellectual property to people, not only for my own living, that's fine, but if we can collaborate on these IPs, we collaborate in the brand, we collaborate in press pass and musical bears and all these things. Every collaboration is creating a market position for that specific creator. It's not creating a market position out of the brand or out of the production. It's creating a market position for that specific and exact creator. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's go to our notable fan generator here. Press Pass, sports documentary, like mid-2010s style sports documentary. Our main show is focused on the Sacramento Majesties media circuit. Now, the Sacramento Majesty are a mixed-gender professional basketball team that plays in the Basketball Syndicate of America, and they are the worst team in the history of this entire fictional basketball league. And that is about where the similarities end, y'all. After that, it's just a fictional retelling of my career. So I don't really know why in Sacramento we're not writing about how collaborative branding on the blockchain started in Sacramento. How we're not writing about how collaborative productions on the blockchain started in Sacramento. While the pioneer behind these efforts is literally living in a fucking storage unit. Like, I live in a storage unit on my foster parents' property. The same property I got kicked out of the day I turned 18. And the reason is because I'm just not supported. I don't know how to get support. And my brain beats myself up about this because, okay, I introduced the idea for collaborative branding. Well, people are collaborating on a different brand. On this plagiarist brand. Somebody who said that they came up with it and said that they came up with it first. They're collaborating on that. They're not collaborating on the original. They're collaborating on this fucking gaslighting bullshit. Okay, fine. All right, whatever. That's such a small group of people anyway, and everybody who needs to know knows. Like, in that small group of people, there are people who know better. Looking at you, JC. Looking at you, David. Okay, there are people who know better, who know that Let Me Out Productions brought the idea in for collaborative branding. And they know that people started building their own collaborative brand instead of joining Let Me Out Productions' collaborative brand. So you guys just jacked the idea, which is okay. It's an open source idea. But you jacked the idea, and the most violent thing about it is you're claiming to have come first. This lady's claiming that the day she started her Clubhouse room was the day they established the first collaborative brand in the film production industry. It's like, no, stop it. You're literally trying to erase a disabled person from his own labor, is what you're trying to do. For what? For what? Because we were here the whole time, even after you were talking all that shit. Oh, they didn't write their own smart contract. Oh, they minted on OpenSea. You're talking all that shit. We were still going to honor you guys and say, hey, you formed a beacon for people to come into the sector and learn the technology and appreciate the technology. But no, your leader's out there pretending everything can't, like she's the architect of everything. You look like ridiculous clowns. You look like ridiculous fucking clowns. I don't know how else to put it to you. Like, just scale it out, please. Scale it out. If you're a Hollywood agent, you're a performer, you're a studio head, and they all know that collaborative branding and collaborative productions as a product started at Let Me Out Productions with James Earl Jones' grandnephew. They all know that. I am James Earl Jones. I'm one of his grandnephews. It doesn't make me any more important than your left toenail. I don't even like bringing it up because it does make me sound like, oh, I want to be a part of the network of elites. Look at me, I'm related to this celebrity. No, I don't care. I don't care. I only ever brought it up because that person was out there plagiarizing me. That's the only reason I ever brought it up, because people needed the clarity on the market. Oh, if we fuck with the plagiarists, this is going to create blowback for us in the future. And I was doing them a favor by letting them know, hey, don't spit in this blood over here. Just don't do it. Don't do it. None of you need to be doing that. You don't need to support somebody calling themselves the architect over shit they have nothing to do with. It's a whack that you all ever did that anyway in a creative economy. It's absolutely crazy. In the film industry, we have something called credit. Okay? At the end of every film, at the end of every episode, there's a period of time dedicated to crediting the people who've provided specific impacts. So what impact did I provide to the media and Web3 economy? Collaborative branding, collaborative productions. That's the impact I provided. That started somewhere. It didn't start with a plagiarist calling themselves the architect over an idea that they did not have. It was not their idea. And y'all know it. You know it. Stop pretending. Stop trying to gaslight. That is not the way to get women into power. And that's ultimately what it's about, right? Well, I hear you. We're all marginalized. I've never been in positions of power in my career either. Line producer and assistant director are not positions of... I can tell you what the hell to do, but it's all to service a goal. So, it's not a position of power. I've never been in a position of self-determination. And you don't create that position of self-determination by ruining somebody else's. And that's what you guys have all united to do, is ruin our position of self-determination to platform some ridiculous lie. And y'all know it's a fucking ridiculous lie. Great. They started their process February 24th, 2020. They started their process. I started my process December 2020. We all have our origin dates for our processes. That process took this individual down a pathway of turning their discussion space into an onboarding facility to get people into the blockchain technology, and eventually into onboarding filmmakers into the technology. After it turned into that discussion space, a lot of people came through to discuss their ideas and their products. Our idea and our product was collaborative branding, collaborative studio branding, collaborative productions. That was Let Me Out Productions who proposed that. All y'all did was you talked shit about it for over a month, and then you launched your own collaborative brand, and then you say it came first. I don't know you. You're a stranger to me. Why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to somebody else? I don't fucking know you. I don't get it. It doesn't register up here as to why would you treat somebody else that way? I don't know you. I've never done anything to you. I'm just sitting here talking about my ideas. And you're sitting there gatekeeping your room. This is the bored and pain asshole we're talking about. Gatekeeping their room. Oh, this idea is quality. This idea is not. Oh, remember, some people know what they're talking about, other people don't. And then curiously, it's all the white people who know what they're talking about, and none of the black people, right? Okay. That's curious, right? And then a month later, after talking shit about our products, driving customers away from us, and their $10 opportunity to get a piece of our collaborative brand, $10 at the time, okay? You say, no, focus on me, I know all the answers, we're going to build the brand over here. And then with the brand you build, you steal the trademark from an existing studio. Another Sacramento studio. It's super bizarre. This is the Film Squad. Jeff Fong is the CEO and leader of this brand. And great community. Really, really high quality craft that they produce here in Sacramento. So this is the Film Squad. They've been doing business as the Film Squad since 2014. I'm not going to bring up the ripoff group because it's the exact same name. They just added a number. And they feel entitled to do that. They feel entitled to go around and just take from people. And that's what people have chosen to build instead of supporting the original collaborative brand, the original collaborative productions. You have people lying out there. They're lying to you. They're just lying. They're just like, it's one thing to try to disaffect me, but it's another thing just to lie to people. Oh, we originated in February 2021. No, you didn't. And you know you didn't. You're not the original collaborative brand. You're not the original collaborative production, studio, collective. You're just not. You're a clubhouse room that appropriated ideas that came through the room, and now you want to say you're the origin of those ideas. It's disgusting. No, you're not. And everybody who suffered from that should not participate in that. Okay? Now, you guys really need to step off the Film Squad's trademark. I'm serious about that. Because I'll partner with Jeff, and we'll get that cleared up. Okay. So, all right, we got through it, right? Elitism's ruling the world. We got people killing kids out there en masse because they think that they're elite. Knock it off! My problems are so small compared to that. Knock it off. Knock off the elitisms. Get out of it. Get out of it. You don't need it. That's not how we survive. That's not how any of this works. We don't need to platform elitism for our own basic resources. I just described all of the media. Oh, man. And so they view me as this I don't know, a matchbook in a room full of dynamite. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why. Everything I've done has been this sort of collaborative effort to move with the industry because I know what the implications are of flipping the omelet in a bad way if the omelet breaks. I get that. Now, some of the omelet needs to break, okay? It just is the way it is. I just got done with years and years and years. Since 2015, I've had zero self-determination in my life. And with the way the film industry is going, I'm never going to achieve it. Okay? I'm never going to achieve it. Playing by the rules of the film industry. So, here's what I'm doing. I took my studio, Let Me Out Productions, I took the brand, it's separate from the business. The business is a state-registered LLC, limited liability company with a tax identification number. The brand is an intellectual property that wraps the activity of the business. The brand is a separate intellectual property from the state entity. These are not the same thing. So the brand I've established with a deed of partnership to be specific, which assigns ownership to myself as the founder, to our 2 co-founders, and our founding board of advisors and our founding regents. So all of our board members. And that deed assigns ownership using digital titles on the blockchain. Now, once all of those assignments are in place, we've assigned 84% ownership of the brand to myself, co-founders, founding regents, and founding advisors. What do we do with the other 16%? Out of 500,000 pieces, that's 80,000 pieces. What do we do with the other 16%? We sell them as a customer product, not as investment contracts. This is not a facility to invest in Let Me Out Productions and to earn gains from a strong market position as a brand at a later time. That's not the point. The point is to grab a piece of the brand to collaborate with. And I don't know how to mitigate the customer purchase premise of getting involved off of potential strength of brand. I don't know how to mitigate that, but no other industry has to mitigate that. I've worked in pro sports for such a long time. If a team gets good, they might increase their ticket price, but they can't stop somebody from buying $500 seats and then turning around and try to sell them at $2,500 a piece. You can't stop that. That's just the market reality of what's occurring because the team is good. Now, the people who are buying tickets to sell at a markup that way, that's the risk is on them. That's not a protected investment. They are adopting the risk. I'm buying these seats for $500 a piece from the proprietor. The intent of the proprietor is that I, as the customer, should go sit my butt in these seats and enjoy the game. But instead of honoring the proprietor premise, I'm going to turn around and try to sell them to another customer who's going to put their butt in the seats, and I'm going to try to make $2,000 a seat off of those tickets. It's not a protected investment. That is not a secure deposit of money, and there shouldn't be any sort of expectation that the team has to ensure that the ticket price has to increase on secondary market. Now, in the same way that a regulator can't go call those securities because of the potential for marked up gains, they can't do the same. They can't do it to collaborative branding. They can't do it to collaborative storytelling. Marketplaces like OpenSea, who've disabled our collaborative brand, just allow us to set a secondary window freeze. It's so easy, 3-month window. So that means when I sell a company ownership token and a customer buys it, they can't sell it again for at least 3 months. You fixed the gambler's market overnight. Now you've set every purchase premise as use of the intellectual property. Oh, if I buy this, I won't be able to sell it again for at least 3 months. Well, then why would you buy it to mark it up to sell to somebody else in a hype craze? You see, it completely admitted. Now, hey, the ideas of the person who pioneered this thing to begin with, that you guys are all freezing out. I don't understand that. I don't qualify for your notions of elitism. I never will. Like, I keep telling you guys, I'm surviving something else. I got a whole different set of conditions that I have to worry about on a day-to-day basis. I do not have time or interest in playing your stupid fucking little game of I'm better than you. I know I'm not better than anybody. I know it. I literally peel my intestines apart using these things every day for hours a day. Those are waking hours too, so that means that I get my 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and then in the middle of every day, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, I have to go lay horizontal and physically manage my intestines because this doesn't work automatically. This area here, my descending colon, I have to physically make things move from this area all the way through. It's painful. It's fatiguing. It takes up 2 to 8 hours a day, and I'll tell you something else. Everything that you see here, I feel all the time. It's a constant presence. And I know this because I never used to, before 2014. Well, really, it started after 2016 when I got kicked in this area right here. But that I never used to feel that. I had this disability my whole life, but that pain, the presence of pain, it's been very strong since 2016. So we're getting in. This is now my 7th year with constant debilitating pain presence all the time, and I don't know what to do. I can't make a living. This is my living. I'm selling my I don't know. I'm just selling my intellectual property as a product, as a collaborative product. That's what I'm doing as a living, and it's like, can that not be supported? Do people have to feel? Do you have to have a network of influencers creating elitism about blockchain, about NFTs? Well, they invested their money in NFTs and they lost all their money. Hassan Piker making videos. I hate NFTs. It's not going to change your creator economy at all. They don't know anything. Their product is elitism. They want their audiences to feel like they're part of the in crowd. They're part of this elite group of people, and so what they're selling them is self-righteousness, and that self-righteousness is focused on so many things. But most of all, it's mostly bullshit. It's mostly things that they have never done any research on themselves. Like, this guy's the king of this, by the way. Okay, this moron here.
Friend of the show, Paris Hilton. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
I jumped in.
I know, I heard. I'm so happy I taught you what they were.
You did. You taught me what's up, and then I bought an ape.
Is this a German
I got an
thing?
ape too, because I saw you on the show with people, and you said you got a MoonPay, so I went and I copied you and did the same thing.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting. These apes are straight up trying to fucking milk their audience, dude. That's it. There's nothing. This is an ad. This is a hashtag ad. And the hashtag ad is basically saying, hey, give me your money, dumbass. Give me your fucking money, you stupid fuck. That's what this hashtag ad is. I hate it. I hate it. I hate cryptocurrency so much. I hope all these rich people lose all their money. I'm sorry. I hate crypto. I fucking hate the NFT shit. I hate the apes. They're such transparent fucking Ponzi schemes. I hate it so much. I'm going to end up watching that 2-hour folding ideas video. Like, that's how much I fucking hate it. You know what I mean? It just makes me so angry. People try to act like they're gonna really help out the creator economy. It's gonna revitalize it. It's gonna revolutionize the creator economy. It's like, it's not. It's a Ponzi scheme, okay? It's a Ponzi scheme for an ugly duck or an ugly ape that they fucking copy paste. It's created by people that don't know anything about fucking art. It is disgusting. And also on top of that, like, the art space has always been very fucking elitist, very insular, and also been used as a way to fucking hide your assets, okay? As a way to hide, as a way to do tax evasion, for sure. But now, these dumbasses went and made it even more gnarly, okay? The one thing that was good about the art was at least it's supposed to make you feel something, okay? It's supposed to make you feel emotions. It's supposed to be, like, captivating. It's supposed to be cool. These apes are everything but that, okay?
Okay, yeah, I've had enough. Anyway, this guy's a fucking dumbass, and here he is selling self-righteousness to, let's be real, primarily an audience of children over something he does not know about. When people are buying a picture of an ape, they're buying the digital title to that specific image. The only person in the world who has that digital title. That's why they're buying it, to be a part of this club, this elitist ape club of the people who are the first people to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a digital title to an image. Like, that's what they wanted to be. That's what this was. It's not the public face of everything that we're doing here. And this idiot and people like him are going around making this stuff the public face. Yes. I never bought an ape, okay? I didn't have $200 when they dropped, and even if I did, like, you would had a really... either had a tough sell over here. I'm a tough customer, because I would have asked, what is the underlying value of $200? Like, what do I get from putting, like, what do I get for this $200? And they'd say the title to this ape. And I say, well, what can I use what can I do? It's an open license trademark. Well, I'm not gonna go make my own ape merch, right? Like, we have merch at Let Me Out Productions, so I'm not gonna make our own ape merch. Like, okay, that doesn't interest me. I'm not interested in an open license trademark for $200 of a monkey. I'm personally not interested. Well, because it was the first heavily marketed use of this digital titling technology, people were buying these pieces of a collaborative brand and trying to sell them at a markup. And everybody's trying to be part of this club because they're the first to do it. Well, here we are, Let Me Out Productions, having done this a month earlier, baby. Okay, we're like... Anyway, I wish the apes nothing but the best. Like, it is what it is. I'm of the crowd that's like, okay, that was a 4chan project that went completely rogue and out of bounds. But long story short, don't listen to people like him. He doesn't know anything about NFTs. NFTs are not deposits. They're not for they're for collaborating. They're not a product. It's not an investment space. And Paris and Jimmy were talking to each other and celebrating each one being a part of this elitist club of these folks that hopped into one of the first collaborative brands to really be successful using this technology. That's really what it's about. That's really what being an ape is. So here we are, a collaborative brand that launched a month earlier, and we're just being fucked with heavy. Man, we've made like maybe $9,000 in 2.5 years. Like, it's not been great. Our facilities for maintaining our ecosystem, like we're like they're shoestring, and I'm unable to scale them as planned because the support is just not here. And we don't appeal to elitism. We don't want elitism. Like, the brand is Let Me Out Productions. Let Me Out is let me out of the conditions of society that are produced by these elitist people. And Hassan, you're one of those elites, man. And when we talk to you about collaborative branding through puzzles, you blocked us. I'm a former TYTer, man. Like, you blocked us. So it is what it is. I learned a lot. You ain't no socialist. There's a lot of things that you ain't. But the number one thing I learned from that exchange, this is December 2022, and we tried to get Hassan to get involved with our blockchain networked collaborations because of that 20% net profit residual to labor, and he blocked us. So it's like, wait, you're not a socialist. If you like, we're in the middle of, mind you, this is before the writer strike and the actor strike, but these things were brewing. And if we could have set the standard at 20% net profit overall to labor. Anyway, let's talk about the blockchain network collaborative products. I should talk about the company ownership token. It's just that the product's frozen right now, and I don't want to commit to a new product release because I'm pretty sure we can get the damages that OpenSea's committed against us undone, and then continue our work as we had planned it. But so they've really hurt us a lot. Anyway, company ownership token. Those are the ones next to my face over here. The three images to the left that are slowly fading in. We have the Voyage of Legacy development service, a step-by-step benchmark development process we use to thoroughly define high-quality, scalable intellectual property puzzles. So you buy a piece of the brand, and now you're able to develop your own idea for a film or a show, some sort of audience experience, into a blockchain network collaborative puzzle. Like, that's the whole idea here. So when you do that, you get a deed. When you go through this journey, you'll have a well-defined production plan for the immediate audience experience you're going to make. But you're also going to be protected in your intellectual property. Every time you create a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end, any audience experience with a beginning, a middle, and an end, you've not just created that you've created that asset, that distributed intellectual property asset that you intend to make and distribute and form an audience experience with. You've also created the story world it exists in. So all of the potential storytelling related to that initial asset So every time you create these assets, you've actually created two properties, at least. You've created the immediate distributed asset, beginning, middle, and end of an experience, and you've created the world it exists in. So in our process, we take you through a benchmark development journey that establishes not just the distributed asset as your property, as a puzzle, but also the world it exists in as a franchise. So that's honestly the number one perk of having a piece of the brand is using this development service again and again and again and again throughout your life to launch your films and shows. And I guess your other collaborative, any sort of audience experience, any sort of collaborative audience experience we can develop using our systems. Okay, so that's the first perk. The second perk is the right to replace the art position. So basically, you buy one of these, and now you get to make one, and it'll be officially part of the release. We had a few pieces in the initial 360 that are like that. But like I said, we may have to move this. We may have to move this whole product to a marketplace partner that will not fuck with us. So, and you know, I'm at the point right now where I'd prefer never to do business with OpenSea ever again after this experience. They've been marketable. They've been so horrible. They've been so horrible just as a platform. I'm looking for the ones. I could just type them in, but come on now. Okay, we're close. Yeah, a lot of my work here is texture photography, so I'll get up real close and get a good texture to work with, and then I'll just mess with it in like contrast and just do a bunch of stuff to try to get to a point where I like it. So here, yeah, okay, so 298, 299, 300, and 303. These are all pieces that I did not make. So, I believe our co-founder, Aaron, made these two. One of our customers made number 303, and another one made 300. And then there's another one here. I believe 5 pieces of the overall collection were made by other customers who are enjoying their catch and release right. The third perk is access to the top brass DAO. That's the interface where everybody who has a piece of the brand, they can actually use their. This is the DAO interface here. This is where everything is facilitated for Let Me Out Productions. And even if, let's say, if I passed away tomorrow, God forbid, my disability gets me tomorrow, everything that's part of the collaborative puzzle pieces is facilitated through the top brass DAO by each other. Content access, that's you know, if you have a piece of the brand, you'll be able to watch whatever content our distribution partners allow for our brand owners, so that's awesome. Swag relationship, collectible drops, promotional materials, the assignment of ownership over the intellectual property defined as Let Me Out Productions brand. You can make derivative art of these pieces if you want. So you can make derivative art, derivative merch using this. The Smolder Moon. Oh, I love this piece. OpenSea. I want these original pieces. Like, even as much as I want the product off OpenSea, these are time mapped. Like, I minted them in a certain chronological order over an extended period of time, and that to me is part of this experience that we have here. But even so, even if I have to replace all 360 of these on a contract we control on a marketplace that won't form conjecture against our products and then govern their own conjecture instead of acting as an impartial marketplace. Anyway, so you can make derivative art. You can identify as a part owner of the part owner of the brand and part of the top brass that runs the brand. There's the Story World seed. This one's another thing that is just so vital. So this token's called the Smolder Moon, and you see there's, the art here. It's got this sort of wet paper texture that I've used. I stained it into this dark, it's a gradient map stain there. And then with, circle, some gray fuzz that's coming through the blue. Anyway, the token's called the Smolder Moon, and it has background of Shadowlands, lunar, a logo, traits of lunar and soul metal, and then just your standard traits of Fireborn somewhere out there and stained. So you can take these elements, Shadowlands, lunar, soul metal, Fireborn somewhere out there, stained, the Smolder Moon, okay? And you can use these elements to create an intellectual property franchise. The franchise could be the Smolder Moon, and maybe there's a series of stories happening within this context. Maybe the beginning, middle, and an end audience experience is the Smolder Moon. And now the Smolder Moon is now happening within this wider world that's created around this initial experience. So every token works the same way with this, by the way. And each one's unique, which, to me, when you're buying the seeds to an intellectual property franchise, that's sort of a priceless relationship. That's really the service to develop the IP, and then the seeds to the franchise are two of the highest value prospects of these company ownership tokens, these collaborative brand pieces. What else we got here? We got collection benchmark achievements. So if you get to more than one piece, there's benchmarks for commitment that we reward customers with higher commitment of brand pieces, with higher ecosystem voting weight and bounty issuances, which goes all the way up to exclusive collaborative positions, which unlock at 4,000 tokens. So 11th perk is custody insurance. Basically, if you buy a piece of the brand, you can't get scammed out of the relationship. You might be scammed out of the digital title, but that's a really easy fix for us. We'll just change the affiliation in the deed to the ID of your new title. And then the one that's lost to the scam was gone from the ecosystem. It's pretty simple. So we have personal agency, deed, and enforcement. That's such a cool product. Maybe I ought to do a stream on that. The 13th perk is the right to pitch with scalable intellectual property puzzle enforcement. So we do take pitches from our brand owners. It's the only people we take pitches from. And they're pitching for our primary production support on their collaborative audience experience. That's what they're pitching for, which is great. They share production resources. The enforcement of the audience experience is built in. So it's really just producing a quality audience experience at that point. And if they want Let Me Out Productions to be the primary house that does that. By the way, nobody is beholden to working with us. Like, you could be a competitor that has a piece of our brand, uses our development services, launches a collaborative audience experience that we have nothing to do with, that is competing with something that we've launched. That's your right. That's well within your rights to do. There's no way we can or would disaffect your market. The 14th perk is the rights to the shared marks of trade, and the 15th perk is the non-disclosure agreement with right of recusal for your development process. So overall, there's 15 perks or utilities that one is purchasing when they buy a company ownership token. The objective value of each token for the customer is over $220,000. Now, I want to be clear that buying a piece of the brand and trying to sell it for $223,000 is not going to work out for you. That's not the point of the product. That's not why we're selling them. We're selling them to network the collaboration in the brand itself, and in order to do that, we offer this package of services, experiences, and property rights at an extreme discount from the objective value position. Now, each token is a different price because it's a different relationship. It's particularly when it comes to that story world seed. So if you have token 13 here, no use crying over spilled lead. Well, maybe Parker here comes out with a film or a show called No Use Crying Over Spilled Lead, and maybe there's some sort of collaborative element for the audience to participate in, whether it be lore crafting, like what we do with Press Pass. It could be ecosystem maintenance and enforcement. There's a lot of people who would buy official Reddit roles, okay? There's a lot of people who would buy the official fandom wiki editor position. These collaborations are consumer products that people will buy. partially because they want to be in the network of elites for that specific property. Okay. So, anyway, I didn't try to form a network of elites out of the entire collaborative branding element to begin with. Somebody else did. And then they tried to, then they tried to say that that they established the collaborative brand. Oh, wow. It is so crazy. It's Black Mirror, I'm telling you, man. It is crazy. Like, I just scale it back. Every time I scale it back, it's appalling to me what has happened. I come into blockchain December 2020 simply looking to title my photographs and get people to buy those photographs so I can put basic resources on my table. That still has not happened to this day, by the way. I cannot win in an attention economy when I'm not interested in the performance. I'm not interested in the performance, the performed elitism that will secure the attention that I need to survive. That's not what I'm interested in. So you combine that with the people who will use that against you. I'm in a bad position, baby. Like, I can't pay bills. I can't sell my core product because the marketplace that we built them on is fucking with me, forming conjecture against that core product. The one thing we did do wrong is that in some of these, this decimal point's in the wrong spot. But it's a title to art. Who cares? All right? Anyway. We just gotta knock off the elitism. I don't know who this is working for. Anyway, buy a piece of the show. You're able to create or claim a character I've created. Then you roleplay the canon of a sports documentary. You shoot your own memes based on the roleplayed canon. Those memes form the archive of the sports documentary. When the documentary uses those memes in episodes, we pay the creators. When we use those memes in advertisements, we pay the creators. When we use those memes as digital merchandise, as part of the show's official merchandise, every unit of that merch sold pays the creator. So, not an investment contract. You buy a piece of the show because you want to create a character. You want to role play. You want to create the lore in that role play game, and you want to shoot your own meme based on the role play. That's the reason why you're spending $20. Okay, and you're also going to be rejecting elitism in real time because you're literally buying the clip of me making fun of elitism as a low quality environment, and then me walking out of the low quality environment, announcing my departure with I'm done with this shit. $20, okay? Buy 7 of them. Please. Somebody all buy 7 of them. Alright, so there's the link. We'll do that one and then I'll wrap up this thing because I gotta get on with my day here. Here we go. Press Pass Season 1. Now again, we have the franchise of Press Pass All Access, and then we have Press Pass Season 1, which is the first distributed asset out of the franchise. So Press Pass Season 1 is a puzzle. The franchise is my sole intellectual property that I will not sell for any reason to anybody for anything. The franchise as an intellectual property decentralizes after 30 years of my guidance following the wrap of Season 1 of Press Pass. So that means if you are a part owner of any of our seasons or films out of the franchise, then you will end up being a part owner of the franchise itself once that decentralization occurs. So, yeah, there you go. I won't read all this stuff, but let's just get to the properties of the token. Alright, you literally own a small percentage of ownership over Season 1 of Press Pass. You have the right to participate in the official canon for the version 1 and version 2 tokens. You have the third proof of collaboration in the development of Press Pass Season 1. You have content access through distribution partners if they allow token gating. The fifth property is collectible drops and potential early access to Season 1 promotional materials. And the sixth property is you may make memes derivative of the style and format of the token itself. And you can also make memes with or about show content. Now, all of monetized content must be created through our lore game experience, which includes a smart contract interface designed for that purpose. All right, anyway, we have our collection benchmark achievement system. So when you buy one token in Season 1 of Press Pass, you become a lore producer. And it means you enjoy 7.27% voting weight and 7.27% of a $500 minimum value assignment bounty issuance for each task commission completed, for each hour of coverage performed in collaboration with the top brass DAO. So you can play the lore game with at least one token. So one token will register a character to the lore. It'll register that character to one chapter of lore. I think there's 1,830 chapters to choose from, and each one can roll with a maximum of 300 characters. One chapter in the lore, and then one meme to the archive. So if you grab a $20 piece of Season 1 of Press Pass today, you're creating a character in 1939, notable fan or an ecosystem professional, which is why I brought this up. You're going to fill out the registration form, which will include some of these details, but then also some details we're asking you to create. After you fill out the registration form, we go through a process where there's an image, we have a specific art style for this. If there's an image that you want to be affiliated with your character, you can submit that. We go through a process where we have a bio created, and that character is now official canon for Press Pass. Then you join the lore game experience, where you join a series of adventures surrounding a basketball team and back in time, and you role play through one or multiple of those adventures with other characters, and you compete over what happens in the lore based on our conflict interaction system, which is super fun. I'll explain that on a completely different stream, but I'm really so fed up. I'm a disabled person. I'm competing against walls and walls of scorn, all formed by elites, people that are objectively elites in society, like the Hassan Piker person. There you got people that want to be elites in society, that like the Borden Payne person. None of it, stop. Just fucking stop. Hassan, it's okay to say to your audience, hey, I don't know anything about blockchain or NFTs. I know I'm not comfortable with you guys spending $200 on an ape, so make sure that you are questioning your interest in that experience. But by, saying to Paris and Jimmy Fallon, like, hey, you guys are collaborating on the brand strength of Bored Ape Yacht Club, that's a Ponzi scheme. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a focused wealth initiative. It's a collaborative brand product. Leviat Productions was around since before Bored Apes, but we are having a lot of market trouble. The first collaborative brand can't find brand collaborators. We can't even find a marketplace that agrees that our product is they want to form conjecture and try to use us as an example of a language that you can and can't use to describe your art. And it's just like, guys, don't engage in that fight with a linguist. Don't do it. Especially cognitive linguists. We research the creation and delivery of meaning. So if you're going to tell me what I mean, you better be equipped. And you already know you're not equipped. So if you already know you're not equipped, then why is the behavior continuing? Why are my products still disabled to OpenSea? You know good and damn well they aren't securities. It's all because some asshole in your group, I don't know the person, but you guys are moving as a body to maintain their elitism. Knock it off. It's one person saying, oh, I think these might be securities. They're not securities. They're not investment contracts. They're not secure deposits of value. They're not financial instruments. If you're going to govern financial instruments, govern the group that actually performed their products actually, literally and actually performed as financial instruments. No, you're not going to govern those? Because they make you money, right? That's what I thought. Discriminatory practices. OpenSea needs to knock it off. The group that calls themselves Film 3, I don't really understand. I don't think you guys truly see the scale of how embarrassing you are. Like, my life doesn't look great, but I'd so much prefer to be broke and scrambling for bills than to be building something that was never mine to build. And you're following a person who has never had a vision for any of you. That's the issue that I'm seeing over there, is that they don't have a vision. There's no uniting goal. Their goal is, I'm the most important person here. That's their goal. And I've noticed that if you repeat that, then that's who they uplift. They repeat the people that are their sycophants, right? They uplift the people that are their sycophants. No. Collaborative branding and production is not for a personality cult. That's not what this is open source for, okay? Especially not a personality cult that adopts the organization principle of collaborative branding and then tries to claim that they're the ones who came up with it. And you guys are all building that like it's like this legitimate thing. It's not. It's a waste of everybody's time, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay, the minute nobody from 2021 is showing up in that, like, Charnock, you're the one guy, right? Nobody else is showing up from 2021. Why? Because they all know. Everybody who is around knows. Everybody I respect. So, anyway, let's talk about this real quick. You buy a title of the show, that's this here, right? $20 version 1. Now you're able to create a notable fan or an ecosystem professional. Now, a notable fan impacts the lore as a notable fan. They have fan ratings, alignments, first fan commitment, and they have fan commitments, wealth tiers, and their profession. So here we have a B tier fan who watches and listens to every game. Alignment is harmonious innocence. Their first fan commitment is visionary. Their second fan commitment is yawn. A visionary thinks they know more than the coaches, but they don't. And a yawn is they're boring to be around. Their wealth tier is Dexter Deposit. They're a 44-year-old title examiner in the lore chapter of the 1939 Manhattan Pantaloons. So, let's say that you join the game as this notable fan, and you're on an adventure in the history of the 1939 Manhattan Pantaloons. I don't think we've written those adventures yet, because we're waiting on somebody to come in and be a lore master. And let's say the adventure eventually gets you to a point where you were sitting courtside in a playoff game with the Manhattan Pantaloons against, like, I don't know, the Allentown Oats. And Teddy Bear Borthwell, Theodosia Borthwell, her nickname's Teddy Bear, she goes up for the game-winning shot in this playoff game, but she misses, and that's that. So we're trying to figure out why she missed this shot. Well, this character was sitting courtside, and they were wolfing down onion rings and garlic bread all day, and they let out a big burp right before Teddy Bear pulled up for the jumper. So that would be something that you might want to role play into the lore of this basketball team as to why that that player missed that jumper, is because you, the fan, had terrible breath and were sitting courtside that day. That could be an outcome that you're trying to troll into the lore. I don't care. We're just trying to make a funny sports documentary, so I'm not a tyrant about this at all. If you're saying, we're just trying to ground it in some sport punk reality, but frankly, I'm here for whatever the community comes up with. So you go through the experience, you role play the moment, and then all of a sudden you're shooting a meme based on the moment. You shoot a meme, pretending to sit courtside in a basketball arena, and you let out a big burp. Great. You want to do an artistic reenactment where anybody can look like anybody. You can animate it. Do that. You want to act like a media member in the 70s talking about the moment from the 30s. Do that. There's all sorts of ways that you can create the meme for the archive and cement that moment into the lore. After the meme's created and in the archive, that's now available for us to use in episodes. Now, less than 1% of the archive will actually be used in episodes. It's available for us to use it in advertisement. Less than 10% of the archive will be used in advertisement. And it will absolutely be listed as official digital merchandise on the Press Pass store, just like the meme that you bought to get in. It'll be listed exactly like this. Your clip, a price, 1,000 editions, and then any customer can buy that meme off the official Press Pass store. And once that sale goes through, you as the creator keep up to 50%. Let Me Out Productions at 45%, charity at 5%. Now, if the meme is derived from sources, then the creator moves down to 15% and the sources share 35%. If the meme is derived from property ownership of another person, the property owner gets 15%, and then now everybody else is sharing that 35%. So that brings me to basically this is my living. I'm selling these titles, and I'm selling collaborative brand titles. I'm selling collaborative production titles, and it hasn't gone well. People, I'm selling collaboration, and folks are not collaborating with me in the initial step that my labor has value. That has because I don't appeal to their sense of elitism. If I don't appeal to your elitism, it doesn't mean my labor doesn't have value. I work so hard. I work 16-hour days on this product, 16 hours a day on this product. My labor has value. I'm not going to appeal to a sense of behavior to get people to buy the product because they think they're going to be elite. They think they're going to be made elite off this product. That's not what it is. I have a feeling there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands more people that have no interest in elitism whatsoever and just want a fun, collaborative experience that they can enjoy in their creative economy, because that's something that we just don't have right now. We don't have fun, collaborative experiences that we're enjoying in the creative economy. We just don't. We don't have that. That's not a product that exists. So now that product does exist in brands, in films, in shows, in physical goods, in services, in experiences. That product does exist. So I'll finish off the stream with this, because I'm at my wit's end. Like I said, y'all, my life is like, when I started this, it wasn't going well. I wasn't in a good position. I was shoestringing my budget along, like barely keeping my apartment in order, and it was a slum. I was living in a moldy apartment. I was eating my hands alive. I'm still dealing with the repercussions from that. We're almost 3 years later after I started my research. I don't have a dignified home. I don't have a car. I don't get credit for anything that I've done in this collaborative branding or collaborative productions. Within the sector, it's the credit and attention and resources and focus have gone to the plagiarist, the person who I introduced the concept to, and then they claim that they're the origins of it and that they started before us. I don't know that. It's so whack, and it's such whack behavior. Anyway, I don't know nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm not going to manipulate the attention economy for a win. I'm not going to appeal to the elite senses of a willing customer base. It's just, so nobody cares. And I'm sitting here broke as hell because society is just so focused on elitism. And it goes to it's all social dominance behavior. There's all chemical stuff in our brains. It's all adrenaline focused behavior that is ruling society right now. And we need oxytocin focused behavior ruling society. That's collaboration. But adrenaline focused behavior creates power dynamics. Oxytocin behavior removes power dynamics. And so the people that benefit from those power dynamics are going to try their damnedest to maintain the systems that enforce those power dynamics. And since my solution is a system upsetting solution, I'm being buried. And they're trying to do all these sorts of sideways things. It's like, why do any of you exist? I'm glad you exist. Don't get me wrong, but your job is not a real job. You shadow forces. You're just like you're out here fucking with people that you don't know. You don't know me, but you're out here fucking with me to maintain some sort of behavioral standard that none of us were alive when it was established. So you're trying to maintain traditions of economic exploitation in this elitism bullshit. For what? Because the ones that are maintaining it, they're not the people that benefit. And you say to yourself, oh, the people that benefit, they're the ones that pay our salaries. Well, shit. Stop trying to disrupt this American innovation. Collaborative branding on the blockchain. Collaborative storytelling on the blockchain. I get it. You don't want to do success-based residuals. But I gotta tell you what. We need it. And it's not up to you. It's our labor. It's our labor. All I've done is translate that into property. That's it. I've been doing it my whole life, by the way. I've been doing that my entire career. Labor into property. That's what I do. In the most tangible sense, I own all my photographs I've ever taken in the NBA. But here we take the intellectual property, we form a puzzle, and we set the boundaries on each section of the puzzle. 10% of Season 1 of Press Pass, that's the customer product. 20% is proof of labor for hired labor. 30% is creator labor. 35% is platform labor. And 5% is unions for quality assurance and value assurance. Like, just let it happen. Stop fucking getting in the way. I'll never get it. I'll never get the people that are getting in the way. I already have a tough time with the marketing angle because, look, I'm selling this goddamn meme, which people need to collaborate on to enter the collaborative experience. They have to collaborate on the meaning that I'm intending to deliver as a provider. They cannot take a self-righteous stance against this because if they do, they immediately remove themselves from the collaboration. We don't want elitism. We do not want self-righteousness. So people have to exit that mentality before they involve themselves in anything that we're doing, in the brand or in any of our productions, at least the ones that I'm helming. My task as a cognitive linguist is to eliminate self-righteous prescriptivism as a human behavior. I don't even know if that's possible in our lifetime because it's so thoroughly ingrained into every human being's standard behavioral apparatus. We do not need elitism. We don't need it. It doesn't do anything for anybody. Well, it does a lot for the people that are in those positions. But then you see somebody like Hassan Piker who's misusing his elitism to sell self-righteousness to his audience. He doesn't know jack shit about blockchain. People buying titles to monkeys on a notary service. It's really not that fucking deep. It's just not that deep. Now, those folks think that that was the first networked collaboration in a brand. We were here a month earlier. But even so, we're not, I don't even think Let Me Out Productions is like the first networked collaboration in a brand. Frankly, I mean, keep it a buck. That was I say that as like, because the market intentionality means a lot. Like CryptoPunks, right? Those pixelated heads of humans. I don't think that was, they never had the market intentionality of being a networked brand. Bored Apes did. They had a market, like that was their market intentionality to become a networked brand. So that's what our market intentionality is too. We want to be a networked brand. We don't want our pieces trading at, how much is an ape right now? 30 Ethereum? In order for a company ownership token, in order for us to charge 30 Ethereum for a company ownership token for token number 30,000, we'd have to have sold 29,999 other tokens. 29,999 other tokens. And that value justification for the customer who's spending, 60 grand to get into the collective at that point? Because they're joining a collective that has, presumably most of those tokens would be individual holders. So they're joining a collective that has over 29,000 people. That's not just their, it's not just the group that they're joining. That is their resource as well. That is how the collaborative intellectual properties develop, is within the network of each other. So the bigger the network, that the customer is joining, the more expensive the ticket is to join that network. It curbs resale value. So somebody buying a Bored Ape right now for 30 Ethereum, right, 60 grand, they might be making that purchase today thinking they're going to sell it for 120 Ethereum the next moon cycle for the apes. That's not the premise, but that is the functional market reality that exists today. So I don't know what to do because the regulators are messing with me. They've never, like, the thing I'll never understand about regulators is, like, just talk to us, y'all. Use your mouth, your lips, your tongue, your voice. Clickety-clack on the keyboard, write us an email. And work with us, because the impact theory should never have been hit with any sort of action. Stoner Cats I sort of get, but even then it's sort of like... in Stoner Cats I get it because a customer would have had to bought the cat for $800 off the premise that they were going to sell it again at a markup at a later time, and then that reality, that condition never came to reality. So I don't know. Like, how much can you buy a Stoner Cats for? Let's see. Yeah, here's the SEC. I want to see the collection. Yeah, so anyway, OpenSea, after these guys got hit with the action, Stoner Cats and Impact Theory, that's when they started disabling all of like brand collaborative products. And I'm just so sick of OpenSea. Like, anyway, I don't know. Well, the last one was sold for $80 2 months ago. I think there was like a little sellout here before they disabled the collection. Anyway, you buy it. I don't know what the hell the cats do. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the collaborative premise of this purchase is. But if you bought one for $800 and you couldn't sell it at a markup at a later time, well, that's what the action's for, and they promoted the customer purchase premise as being that. So I totally understand that. Our case, we're not doing the same thing. Impact Theory didn't do the same thing either. If somebody buys this, they're not, like, we don't want them to sell it at a markup to somebody else. Now, if that does happen, then royalties are appropriate, by the way. That's totally fine. Like the brand taking royalties off of our art or our puzzle pieces, like that's fine. Like the only reason that the product has secondary market value to begin with is because of the work of the brand. So, but again, these need to be looked at like sports tickets and not investment contracts, because you guys are just trying to crush me while I'm in a position of no resources and I can't fight you. But that's not the way to establish governance. It's not the way to establish law and legislate. Like, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous fucking behavior. It's all because of this network of elites, man. It's like these people that see themselves as this network of elites that can go around telling other people what to do, how to behave, what they mean. And there's no politic to it. It happens in all sorts of political atmospheres. Well, there's a politic to it in that don't kill kids. The hell are we doing? Like, I said it at the beginning of the stream, ultimately this behavioral elitism comes down to that. Like, that's the ultimate end game. Like, do you feel like you're so elite that you can kill somebody else's child? Because that's it. That's the peak. What else is there to do? Like, what else? Is there a way that you can become more elite? Isn't that the hardcore defining metric right there? Like, hey, I can kill your kids with zero consequences. like I said, my problems are not at all on the register compared to that. I just can't pay my bills. I'm not getting any credit for the work that I've brought to the ecosystem. I don't want to be a famous person. I don't want to be a public figure. I just want our brand. I just want our collaborations to be supported. And if it's that I have to manipulate an audience into myself being a public figure or some sort of like fame, I don't want that. I don't want to contribute to any of this. I don't want to be a part of your elite network. I don't. All right? Like, I happen to be related to James Earl Jones. It's pretty cool. It's a fun fact in my family for the longest time. And then after a year into that plagiarism, okay, after this lady starts calling herself the architect over collaborative branding and collaborative storytelling products, that's when I'm like, no. You need to know the blood of the person you need to know the blood you're spitting into. But past that, I don't know James. Like, I don't know him. I would love to meet him. He's in his 90s, but I don't really know that we'd have much to talk about. I could share stories from covering the NBA. Basically, my experience with people in their 90s, they got jack shit. They're not interested in what you have to say to them. And I'm not going to put that on my Uncle James, but I would expect that to be the case. And then even him sharing stuff with me is sort of exhausting, right? It's like, yeah, to be honest, it'd be such a blessing to sit down in a room with him and just recount all of his career experiences and take notes and really try to understand, like his dad was Robert Earl Jones, Hollywood pioneer, and I really want to understand how everything bridges together. You know what I'm saying? I really want that sinew of what brings this whole family thing together into this multi-generational legacy that if I'm a part of or not, that doesn't really, I don't want to be an elite. I don't want to be a name. I don't want to be like a household name. I don't want scrutiny. I don't want any of that stuff. Like, I like the idea that today I was able to wake up and I could do pretty much anything I wanted within economic reasons. Within my means, but that I just don't have an obligation to an audience, and I don't want that obligation to an audience. That said, let me put it this way. My obligation to my audience is to network a good collaborative experience. That's what my obligation is. I've done that in the brand. I've done that in season 1 of Press Pass and the entire franchise. I've done that in Musical Bears. I've done that in Shirley, though. We've got a few more projects that we're working on slowly, but the fact is, I can't make a living. And I'm worried because unless the blockchain and NFTs are starting, we need to see a hardcore switch overnight in the way that they're discussed. This is not a technology for investment facility. It's literally just an information tracking system. It's just not that deep. And you've got people trading digital titles to intellectual property around like financial instruments. And that's not my fault. But it doesn't mean that a piece of a collaborative brand forms a secure value deposit into the brand that the customer expects to withdraw at a later time. That's not the point. I'm the inventor of the product. That's not the fucking point. So saying that is a potential market reality does like that sure, it's a potential market reality, but like I said earlier, it's the same thing is true for sports tickets and name brand clothing. It's a potential market reality. Don't govern potential market reality, govern proprietor premise number 1. Impact Theory's proprietor premise was you're buying a ticket to services and experiences that have yet to exist. So we're going to build these services and experiences with the tickets that you're buying. Okay? Whatever. Like, I don't know why you guys went after him. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they said they're promoting to be the next Disney. Who cares? So many businesses sell tickets to events that have yet to occur. You're being discriminatory about the ticket being on the blockchain. That's what you're being discriminatory against. You're being discriminatory against the fact that somebody can buy that ticket and sell it to somebody else at a later time at a markup. Yeah, we haven't had a information transaction technology like blockchain before, but that doesn't mean that all the transactions that are happening are investments. And I'm sure, like, for your regulatory body, like that seems like a welcome space, but it's not. It's just not. The collaborative intellectual property is a consumer good. It's not an investment contract. So I just need people to stop fucking with me, for one, because most of y'all are strangers. Like, no, all of you are strangers. Like, whether you be from the United States government, Hollywood, deep back end Hollywood, whatever, one of these idiots running around here from the Film 3 squad or whatever, like, stop fucking with me. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know, like, that my family has been destabilized for so long, and we came in here to get stabilized, and all that's happened is further marginalization from people that go around claiming that they're uplifting marginalized people. Oh, it's disgusting. You guys are disgusting people. And it's really opened my eyes up as to the depth of evil in this world, because it's really just the day-to-day standard approach that we all take to elitism. We platform it, we celebrate it, we all become sycophants to it. And I'll tell you, it's producing such a low-quality environment for everybody. Nobody's benefiting. Nobody's going to win from this. Even the people that think that they're elite. Y'all aren't happy? Stop. I see you. You're not happy. Because you know that you're, like, for most of you, you know that you're getting one over on the next person. You can't be happy with that. You want to be in that position from your merit. That's what you want to be. But unfortunately, we're in a society where you have to cheat and game other people to get in those positions, so that's what you've done. And so you want to maintain that network. You want to maintain that human behavior of having to cheat and game other people to get into these elitist positions. That's what's being happened to me. I'm being cheated and gamed on by these people claiming to be the architects and just plagiarizing my work. Collaborative branding in production studio. Start to Let Me Out Productions. Like, that's our paradigm. We brought that to the table. You're welcome, everybody. It's open source. Enjoy. Collaborative Productions. Hey, everybody, we brought that to the table. It's our paradigm. Enjoy. Here's a paper on it. And what happened? You guys ran right by us. You did not support our original stuff. You didn't buy the brand pieces when they were $10 a piece. You didn't buy the pieces of press pass. All you guys did was form another body of elitist bullshit. That's all. I didn't create this so you guys can form a body of elitist bullshit to freeze out the people that you don't approve of. Bored and pain, that's your thing. That's your behavior writ large. It's disgusting behavior. I can't believe so many people have platformed that and have been sycophantic to it. It's pathetic. It's pathetic shit. You're not you didn't come up with it. Okay, you're discussing blockchain on Clubhouse back in February 2021. I get it. Hey, you're part of the early crowd. Congratulations. Doesn't make you entitled to do the things that you're doing. That's craziness. That is just, maybe it's a different gen. She's Gen X, right? So it's a different generation. But man, I thought the Gen X and millennials, we were in on it, man. We were going to take out that elitism together. Did we all not grow up to listening to the same punk rock? Goodness gracious. And y'all wonder why the state of politics is the way it is. It's not left versus right. It's elites versus non-elites. That's really what it is. That's really what it is. The left-right cultural stuff, frankly, most people agree on these things. Even the people that, like, I'm part native, right? Like, it's like, okay, when the Europeans came over here, there was open borders, right? No border patrol. Now y'all want to tell people where they can and can't go in the world? All right. I'm over here saying as long as we know who people are, then who cares? All right, we know who you are. If we know who you are, then who cares where you're at? If we know who you are, then that's all that matters. Because if you do something, we know who did it. So I'm all the way here for a who you are system. But again, if it's going to be used to, like, we did not do anything to get rid of elitism in human behavior, social dominance behavior, to create these little pockets of elitism. We haven't done anything to get rid of that in ourselves. And so what do you think AI is going to do? It's going to do the exact same thing, except for it's more dangerous in artificial intelligence, because at least humans, when I tell you, hey, we're forming these little elitist groups in society, everybody knows what that is. We know that there's a tangible behavior to that. AI won't know it, because AI is literally just going to be regurgitating our behavior. It won't have any self-awareness as to what it's regurgitating. It's impossible. Self-awareness and artificial intelligence are not they don't belong in the same conversation. There's no such thing. No matter what, it'll be regurgitating human behavior. No matter what. There's never a conscious element of energy in there. So if we don't root ourselves against this nonsense elitist bullshit, at peak scale, you got people bombing kids. I'm not going to get deep into the politics. Just knock it off. If you're at the other end of the trigger, knock it off. Stop. Stop. Number one, for the kids. Number two, for your own sake. For your own sanity. You're the one who's got to sleep with yourself for the rest of your life. The hell? I step on somebody's foot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be... This is not... And then where I'm at, in the microcosm I'm at, stop. Just stop being elite. I'm not going to join your stupid elite club of people that came in after us and did their own collaborative brand thing and wants to pretend it's earlier. Not going to join that club. That's not going to happen. The originals are going, like, if y'all want to be part of the original, we have it. Join our collaborative brand. Now, you can't join the official brand until we move that product off of OpenSea or until they unfreeze it, which may end up, again, there might have to be a court battle there. I prefer not, because I don't even know how to file suit. Frankly, the U.S. government's done fucked with me so much since I was literally in the womb. I don't trust them to handle anything appropriately. I don't think that's a body that can handle a single thing well. Except for maybe, roads. The postal service. But... Yeah, we just need to stop, okay? Collaborative branding is the consumer product, starts at Let Me Out Productions. Collaborative storytelling and productions is consumer product, started at Let Me Out Productions. You're not going to move society into that product without them celebrating us. It's just not going to happen. You can try it. I think that's what's going on with the whole board and pain thing, is that's an official attempt to try it. And I'll never understand that, because... all you have to do is go look at the spreadsheets. Just step into the ecosystem, look at the numbers. I just want to sell these. I just want to sustain myself and my family by selling these collaborative intellectual property experiences, building a brand that does the same thing. Okay, that's what we're doing. This is active. This is activity. Like, this is happening now, and. I'm not going to manipulate an attention economy to platform elitism. It's against everything in my ethics as a cognitive linguist. Won't do it. So everybody out there, exit the rat race for elitism. Start collaborating on your own market positions and brands and productions today, and start with Let Me Out Productions. We'll get to the bottom of the collaborative brand, but those will be available soon enough. The pieces there. I'm not in any rush to get to because I want the history. Like, this is history. This here, March 2020, it's history. Like, it's not something that anybody can ever get rid of. It's on a permanent public record. Now, OpenSea is telling us we're not able to trade our history. They've disabled the product. by saying, "Oh, these are investment contracts." You can't just we need to get to the bottom of this. We can't just have people going around claiming things that are investment contracts that aren't. The only person who can claim something as an investment contract is the fucking proprietor. It needs to be a respected market rule. Okay? If they're selling a product, they're selling a product. If they're selling an opportunity for investment, then that's what they're selling. But they need to be the ones to clarify that. Okay? Now, I get it. You don't want people selling products that are actually investments, or as some sort of wink wink, this isn't a facility for investment, when it actually is. Okay, well, regulate the big ones. Regulate Bored Apes, because that's exactly how their product performed, literally to the T. And if you're not going to regulate that group by saying, hey, these are unregistered financial instruments, and and you're not going to do that because they actually have resources to fight and win, and they will win, because that's a ludicrous argument to make. You're going to pick on the small people? You're going to pick on the history-making pioneers that don't have huge followings, so we can't... Like, what is the point of disabling my company ownership tokens? Like, I don't get that. This is not a lot of money. Like, you're just preventing a guy who's had his labor removed from the traditional economy from health issues from making a living. That's what you're doing. By saying to him, hey, your collaborative brand is an unregistered investment facility, but the Bored Apes collaborative brand, that's fine. That actually performed as an unregistered investment facility, that's fine. But your collaborative brand, because it might perform as an unregistered investment, it might. It totally depends on ignoring key factors like why the customer buys the product and what the product does. If you throw those things out the window, then yeah, you can pretend we're selling investment contracts. Based on the language of company ownership token, which again, company has an objective value of meaning, formal association of a group of people. Ownership is legal right to, token is proof. Proof of legal right to formally associate with our group of artists producing audience experiences. It's not that deep. None of this needs to be that deep. Why are we forced to go kiss the feet of these assholes? Why am I forced to kiss the feet of some asshole who doesn't know what company ownership token means? Why do they have authority to tell me what my labor is and how it's performing on the market and what the customer purchase premise is, what my proprietor intent is? Who the fuck is this? I don't know, because OpenSea has not told me. They're just platforming this elitism, and they have not explained any of the intersections that they should be explaining when they're disabling 118 hours of my labor in putting this art collection together. I don't know what to do. Like I said, I can't pay bills. Everything in my life that needed to be paid last month didn't get paid because I got paid on near protocol from a consult that I did, and they paid me through a system that I can't turn into US dollars. It's something that they did called fast auth, and I'm just like, I just don't have income, and I can't pay my bills. So why does my life have to be thrown in the trash? My storage unit, half my life is in my storage unit, about to be auctioned off, because people don't value my idea that came from me, from my abstract depth of thought in collaborative branding and collaborative productions. I don't appeal to elitism, so they're not going to platform me and support the original actual products, because I don't appeal to elitism. I don't get it. Just buy it. Just I'm worth a living, man. Like, this isn't fucking cool. I don't know any of you fuckers. I don't fucking know you. I don't fucking know any of you. Why are you fucking with me? Who the fuck is this plagiarist fucking person? Bored in pain. I don't fucking know you. Why are you claiming to be the architect over my shit? I don't know you. We all know collaborative branding did not start in your clubhouse room. We all know collaborative productions did not start in the clubhouse room. We brought that to the space. We brought it to the space as an open source idea. And with the expectation that people would celebrate that by buying our products, by buying the collaborative brand, by buying the collaborative production. But no! This fucking idiot told everybody, don't buy that, don't buy those products. They didn't do it right. I'm the fucking creator. No, you're not. And you used us, and you wiped your feet on us, real people. People died. People fucking died. Kim Foster died September 2021. Barbara Wallace, November 2021. Robert Earl Jackson, I'm so sorry. Robert Earl Jackson, my dear Uncle Earl, November 2021. Uncle Melvin, April 2022. Kim, Barbara, Earl, and Melvin, 4 people, died. Because this idiot fucking stranger is going around telling people not to buy our collaborative products. That they had to build their own version. What do you do about that, by the way? There's nothing you can do about that in real time. You have somebody talking shit. All you can do is stop talking shit. That's it. I didn't even know that was going on, by the way. It took me months after to realize that that's what was happening in real time. I didn't realize it in the moment. In June of 2021, I didn't know Borden Payne was out there talking shit about us. Telling everybody, oh, they didn't execute their own model right. You don't know shit about our model. You're a fucking stranger. You're not important to me at all. You're not important to anything that anybody is doing. You're not. You're a fucking stranger who placed yourself in the way and formed a network of elitism around you doing that. That's what you've done. That's it. That's all that exists today. It's just that fucking personality cult of all these goddamn sycophants running around this. Oh, we're the foundations of collaborative branding. No, you're fucking not. It's not your vision. It's not your idea. Stop it. You're not fucking relevant to the idea. That's the truth of it. You're not fucking relevant to the idea. And in fact, this behavior, that's the only thing you're going to be relevant for. That's the saddest thing of all. You're only going to be relevant for trying to form a network of elitism out of plagiarizing an idea that wasn't fucking yours. And you tried to gaslight into reality this whole time. Doesn't matter the people that you affect. It doesn't fucking matter that we are real people over here. My name's Kimani Okira. I'm a real fucking human being. Aaron Apodaca, our co-founder, a real person. Nick Malve, co-founder, a real person. And all y'all keep fucking doing is using my labor to get in the way of my own self-determination. Stop! Stop fucking platforming yourselves! Nobody gives a shit! Stop! Stop using other people's shit to make yourself an elite. Stop it! That is such terrible fucking behavior. Knock it off! That extends to so many different groups. The regulators in the SEC, go fuck yourselves. What are you doing? You're out here forming rug pulls out of impact theory. You created a rug pull for those customers. You didn't enforce jack shit. Tom, I don't know what you're doing, man. You should have fought that. You would have won. Speaking as the pioneer behind collaborative branding, you would have won that in court. You didn't do it exactly everything, down to the T of how it's, of what the vision is. Doesn't matter. I invented this fucking shit. I invented collaborative branding. I invented collaborative productions. I big deal police myself so much that it makes room for these strangers to platform their own stuff. Elitism. That's not useful. Whoever is at OpenSea telling me company ownership tokens are unregistered security, who are you helping? You're not helping anybody. You're just preventing me from trading my fucking labor. That's it. You're not helping a customer. You're not protecting a customer from being burned. You're just preventing me from selling a fucking product that I invented. These fucking Film Squad people. God fucking damn those fucking goddamn clowns. You're in the way of so much shit. You have no idea what you're in the way of, because everybody knows. The only people who don't know are the indies coming into the sector now, who think everything looks a certain way. But there's a reason the studios don't fuck with you. The reason they don't fuck with us is because they don't want to see 20% net profit become a standard. Okay? That's why they don't fuck with us. We have we have proof of origin, we have the original brand, we have the original product, but if they fuck with us, they are establishing a permanent market behavior of 20% net profit from each season and each film that's produced to labor. And once labor tastes that, once the unions taste that, they're never going back. I forget what the success-based residual cap is for the writer's room deal, but it was something like... there's a cap. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, a cap? So if you go right, what? 797 people worked on Barbie. Okay, 797 people. That was the company, the formal association of people producing the audience experience of Barbie. Barbie went on to make $1.6, $1.7 trillion globally. Okay, net profit. That's net earnings globally. Take 20% of that and you distribute it equal parts to 797 people. Let's just do the math, okay? We'll do one, let's say it made 1.6 trillion. Okay. Okay. So 20% of that is 320 million. This is all before taxes, okay? I'm going to divide that in equal parts. This isn't how this actually works, but we're going to divide that in equal parts by all 797 people that made the film. This doesn't seem like accurate math, but this says a success-based residual of 401,000 a person. It seems accurate for the scale of what they produce, but last time I did these numbers, I think I landed on 56 grand a person. But anyway, maybe I got a number wrong here. 1.6. Okay, yeah. There's 600. Yeah, okay. No, that's right. Okay. No, that's right. Okay, whatever. So yeah, if you equally split that $320 million success-based residual with each and every member of the team that made Barbie, they're each taking away 400 grand. Now, our actual success-based residual system works a little bit differently. We actually measure something called impact percentage. It's all in the paper here. Proof of labor system. Anyway, all of this works. It works so well, and we're just being fucked with a million different ways, and I don't get it. Okay, so what needs? Can we stop the elitism against blockchain though? Can we at least do that? Can we at least get to that point as a society? Because I'm out here starving, y'all, and I just really need folks to make characters in our show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just me, my dad, here. My family's in dire straits. They've been in dire straits this entire time. It's one of the reasons why I came into this technology, was to find answers for that. And the answers just have not facilitated themselves. The method for that facility is launched, and that is something that I think I've contributed a great good to humanity for: collaborative branding, collaborative products. But there's a thick network of people that are trying to disrupt us. And I sound like a crazy person because it's like, oh, you're just not doing a good job marketing. No, it's so much deeper than that. Okay, like, this being disabled from trade, that's people fucking with us. There's no reason for that. that the group that's going around trying to plagiarize and gaslight a false reality, no reason for that. SEC pretending that they don't know what these are and that it's all this facility for investment, there's no reason for that. You guys know what these are. You know what these are. So stop. Stop with the elitist bullshit. Because at the end of everything, there's a group of people that know everything that's going on. Everybody gets it. And there's just one asshole who has this contrarian take. And we all platform that contrarian take because we're platforming elitism. That's what it is. So I know at OpenSea there's that asshole who's going around saying that our company ownership tokens are securities. Stop platforming their elitism. They're not. You're going to get your whole platform into a world of trouble. I'm telling you. This is an unreasonable restraint to trade. It's creating significant damages to us. Don't bring OpenSea down that path because you're platforming one lawyer's elitism because they don't understand what company ownership token means. They don't understand that a brand is separate from a business. How many brands does Nabisco own? Okay, National Biscuit Company. Oreo, Nutter Butter. I don't know all the brands, but you know what I mean? Like, there's two brands right there. So can they take their Oreo brand and say as an intellectual property, this is actually a puzzle? At Nabisco, we're gonna keep 25% of the puzzle. We're gonna let the head chefs of the Oreo recipe each have a certain percentage of the puzzle, and then we'll have less than 20%. Always has to be less than 20%. Be the consumer product, and now a customer can buy a piece of Oreo's brand. I'm not going to formulate the collaboration for Oreo. I'm not going to provide that $100,000 console for free. But there would be some sort of collaborative experience. It could be as simple as just submit an idea for an Oreo flavor. Okay? You can do this on an annual scale too. You can do it every year. Like Oreo could do 2023 brand. Work with a group of artists to produce the actual pieces for the brand. And now, going back to our annual construct, you'd have Nabisco at 35%. It'd actually be up to 65% total. Customer product at 10%, 20% for the laborers of Oreo. The people making the cookies, the people running the packaging lines. And so now whatever Oreo does as a brand, overall at the net profit level, 20% of it can be distributed to labor based on the impact percentage they create in making the damn cookie and making that brand happen. Now, I know why you guys are fucking with me, trying to get this behavior from taking off on a grand scale, but the thing is, the fucking with me is part of why it's going to be so big, and I don't want to be a big name. Y'all should have just let me alone. But you're fucking with me. You're making me into this like person I don't really want to be. I don't want to be a person who's been plagiarized and got our product shut down by an impartial marketplace. Collaborative branding on the blockchain. Blockchain networked collaborative brands. First one ever is Let Me Out Productions. Blockchain networked collaborative productions. First one ever is, well, it's technically Musical Bears, but if you're talking about like a production that's going to be on a streamer, is Press Pass. If I have to go through anybody else's elitism just simply to exist, it's just too much to deal with. It's just too much to keep platforming and to deal with on a day in, day out basis. I have a major, I literally pull my intestines apart in real time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my life experience is very low quality right now. Extremely low quality. It's not dignified at all. And a good portion of that is because of strangers fucking with me. So, I don't know. The whole point of this, I guess, stream is just like, that is all coming from your internal desire to be an elite, to be able to fuck with somebody else. And it's just like, stop. Grow the fuck up. Understand what's been done here and get the fuck out of the goddamn way. Jesus Christ, you talentless pieces of shit. You fucking garbage people. You don't do anything for society. You don't do anything. You are not capable of doing a goddamn thing. for society. You're not capable of it. You're not capable of thinking in the abstract and extracting solutions that benefit society as a whole. That's my job. As a cognitive linguist, that is my fucking job. To research, study the creation and delivery of meaning, and look for flaws in that process that we can highlight to improve and leave a better future, leave a better lived reality, leave a better shared experience for everybody else. And right now, that flaw is your goddamn elitism, your self-righteous nonsense. And everybody does it. And it can be something as benign as, oh, you spelled this wrong. Oh, you didn't say this correctly. Oh, you used the wrong form of there. Who gives a fuck? Nobody cares. None of that matters. That does not matter. Did you understand the meaning that was being delivered? You did? Great. So why are you highlighting performance standards after the fact? Because it platforms your elitism. Well, guess what else you're doing? You're making everybody in that moment fucking miserable. All right, except for the one person who's like, oh, yeah, hey, grammar police over there, yeah, you go get them. Because what they're experiencing is a little adrenaline rush from seeing somebody else get torn down for not meeting their performance standards. So you have the elitism platform by these adrenaline seekers who need other people to feel bad about themselves so they can feel good about themselves. And then you just have the rest of us trying to survive. And I'm out here trying to survive, selling network collaboration and branding, selling network collaboration and productions, and I'm having a real tough time. I can't sell this product. Like, literally in the brand, they have disabled the product from being sold, despite it being the original collaborative brand. And nobody cares. There's no justice. Nobody gives a fuck. Like they successfully turn you guys off blockchain so much that you don't care what happens to anybody who's building using it. And it's just like, why? How did we get there? It's literally just a fucking notary service. That's it. Puts information in blocks, keeps them in a chain. What's so fucking... What? What are we doing? I don't get it. Why does that need to be met with scorn? Oh, because people are trading around cartoons and selling them at 50x markups and stuff. I get that. That was whack behavior to watch develop in real time. It's not what... 99.9999999% of the activity of people using and building on blockchain have nothing to do with cartoon cult financial instruments. That's not what we're doing. But these influencer networks are selling self-righteousness against what we're doing because they want to maintain that air of elitism. So the facts don't matter. It doesn't matter that blockchain is for networking information and networking collaborations in intellectual property. It doesn't matter that that's actually what it's for. They want you to think that they're protecting you from some scam. And that the titles that I'm selling are inherently scam. No, take it to an experience like anything else. And this experience, I wrote a deed that defines what the intellectual property is, and I've assigned portions of that intellectual property to serialized pieces of art. It's not different, like, what, it's... Just make a wallet at salmonwallet.io and register, get your intellectual property license, and then buy some titles from me so I can pay my damn bills. I just want to pay my bills before the end of the month. Like, I'm not asking for much, man. I also just want to be left alone. Like, y'all need to stop fucking with me. Like OpenSea in particular. Like, stop fucking with me. The other group, you guys everybody knows you're a bunch of clowns. So I'll let y'all figure that out on your own. But it's OpenSea. Like, I've got people that actively want to buy the original product release from our collaborative brand because it is the original collaborative brand on the blockchain. And you guys have disabled the product, forming a historic, unreasonable restraint of trade, violating the Sherman Act. The damages of your Sherman Act violations are like, don't make me do it, because I'll fucking do it. As soon as I find an antitrust lawyer that actually understands what's going on here, it'll be off to the races. But yeah, I got people that want to buy these brand pieces right now, and this is our core product. This is the main thing that pays the bills. If I sell 3 of these in a month in my current low margin position, All my bills are paid, and I can take my time in onboarding those 3 brand owners into the collaboration. So I spent so much time on these, man. Just stop fucking with me. Like, just stop fucking with me. It's been day 1. Like, I brought the idea in for collaborative branding. Nobody rallied around us to support. They rallied around the group that was talking shit. And now there's no uniform consumer product in collaborative branding or collaborative productions because they're not adopting the original fucking one, which was built to create a standard consumer product in this sort of paradigm. So, anyway, I'll say this for the Film 3 ecosystem. I don't brand with Film 3. I never will. It already happened. Film 3, if you apply the linguistic values of Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, all right, Web 1 is the first edition of the internet. You had to literally buy hosting space and host your own website if you wanted to put content online. So it's called read-only internet because if you're surfing, then you were going around to these various hosted properties and you're reading other people's content. You're not interacting or hosting your own. Web 2 is where we're currently at. I'm using Web 2 right now, where we are participating in the hosted spaces of the people who own the hosted spaces. So, for example, I'm providing content through a YouTube stream, but it's YouTube's content. Like, everything is centralized through YouTube. So if they want to, they can shut my stream off right now. If they want to delete this video later, they can do that. If I knew how to monetize my channel, then they could demonetize me. So I don't have keys over my own over my own self-determination on YouTube. I do if I play within their rules, and I got no reason to not play within their rules, but, as soon as you don't want to play within their rules, they can take your keys away. So in Web 3, it's now, these spaces are not exactly hosted, like you don't pay for hosting. It's this giant network. It's this giant information record. And so when you create something on a giant information record, you've created that thing. So I've created collaborative branding on a giant information record, and I've created that thing. Okay? And let's go find it again. Okay, but like, I created these pieces of our collaborative brand. Each of them have their own. This is why it's so cool. Each of them have their own. I do them one at a time. March 25th, 10:49 a.m. So each of these mint dates tells their own story as well. So anyway, I love this. I actually want this one. But when we eventually do the replace and airdrop Veritas, I'll make sure that you get this one back. Number 5, though, we're going to take back from MetaPurse. That one ended up in a retired wallet, so we're going to take that one back and sell it again when we reset this product. Just stop fucking with me. Embrace collaborative branding as American innovation instead of treating it like this weird, sideways version of socialism. It's not. It limits everything to the market activity of the containing intellectual property. Super simple. So, and the last note on this is I do have mostly regulators watching my stuff. If you need to have a conversation, just have a conversation. You can pay us as consults, which is something I'd much prefer to do because that means I can actually pay my bills instead of you guys using my labor to form policy around, which I know is what you're doing. You're using my labor to form policy around and without actually ever talking to me about proprietor intent and all of these really key crucial things. So this product is shut down from trade. That doesn't come from OpenSea necessarily. That comes from the SEC telling OpenSea that they don't want anything that could be construed as financial instruments being transacted on this brokerage. But the minute we take y'all to court over disabling our collaborative brand, you're going to have to explain why this one's still able to trade. Okay? Stop fucking with me. I'm so tired of it. I just want people to rally and collaborate on these IPs and just share the market positions we create, because that's really what it's about. You make a fan in the show, you make a ecosystem professional in the show, play the roleplay game, create the canon, film your own memes based on the canon. Each meme that you create in the ecosystem enjoys 4 market positions. First market position is potential use in an episode, not very likely, but it's there. Next market position is potential use in an advertisement, still not very likely, but a higher chance of being used than being used in an episode. The third market position is a guaranteed market position. There's no guaranteed returns, but your meme will be official merchandise for Season 1 of Press Pass. It will be listed, probably not, it won't be on OpenSea, it'll be on our new partner at Layer, but they will be listed exactly like this, and then customers will be able to go buy your meme from the show merchandise, just like I'm able to buy this meme. Okay? And then the fourth market position is we're making a lot of seasons of Press Pass and a lot of films in the franchise. So if in 15 years we're doing Press Pass movie number 5, and that movie wants to use a flashback from the archive that wants to use a meme that you've put into the Season 1 archive from this experience, they can, and they're going to pay you that bounty. Now, our one thing on the bounties is we will scale them with product success, but as of right now, the minimum bounty that's set aside for anything is $500, and that means if you have 1 token, you're receiving 7.27% of that bounty if you achieve that task or assignment. So that would make it $35 for that to achieve that task or assignment. So on assignments, that's an hourly thing, so $35 an hour. If you're like modding, if you are a property owner and you're modding a chat, let's say Charlie actually picks up the distribution rights to Press Pass, which will solve a lot of my issues, and you're moderating the chat, like you're an official property moderator from Let Me Out Productions that's signed up through the top brass DAO to moderate that particular episode's live stream in the chat. Well, maybe that would be a 2-hour live stream. The episodes are only going to be 30 minutes, but you never know. All right, I'm sure they'll, if it's OTT distribution, they have to do a clean watch first. They can have their head in the black space of the material, like down here, but no speaking, all of that. Let the actual frame of the cinema do its job in telling the story. And then after they finish the episode, they can scrub through it. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's like it's really great, engaging material. To like any streamer who buys distribution rights to an OTT show like Press Pass, OTT again is over the top. They're gonna be able to form 3, 4, 5 hours of content out of every episode at least. That's just off the day it syndicates. Like, it's not counting subsequent property. And then the other nice thing is if your audience members of your particular group that's watching all own their own characters in the lore. Come on now! I don't know. I don't know. I gotta get out of this hole that I'm in, because it's something. It's definitely something. So, I gotta wrap this up. I didn't want this to be too long. I really appreciate anybody who does watch this, who has my best interests in heart. I don't know what the answer is, because I'm at wit's end. I just can't pay any bills. And nobody, like I told y'all, I grew up in foster, so there's nobody to call to pay a bill when you don't have the answer. It just falls apart. And that has been my life since the day I turned 18. I got kicked out of foster the day I turned 18. It's the way my life has been. And I've been trying to fix that. There's not been a single stop in my career. Young Turks, NBA, Smosh, DeFi Media, ABC, Discovery, religion of sports, all these different groups that I've worked with and supported over the years. Like, I love each and every one of y'all, most of y'all anyway. But none of those were going to stabilize me, a person like me. And we just are so attached to this network of elitism, this culture of elitism, that people like me, including me, can't even bootstrap our own victories off our own ideas. It's fucked up, man.